That's a big welcome to Heroku, who's back.
Welcome back, Heroku.
Somehow we didn't know it until we read the chat today that you were banned. Somehow you got banned along with all the guys that said porn this and Dan loves this and all these pornographic names that were out there in the chat. We should pull some of those up and show what who's been banned.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dan sometimes fat fingers. Necron, remember?
No,
Necron
I don't
35?
think it was me. I do not think it was me. I had no reason to even. I never even.
It might have been an accident. You might have been trying to get someone, and you got him. That was right next to it. That's possible.
Maybe. I don't know. That we were wondering the last month and a half or so. Where's Heroku?
What happened to Heroku?
We also,
Daniel.
this is show of grace. We have a little grace here. We actually unbanned SF Giants Mania. So if he wants to come back out here, and along with Jimmy G, who else did we unban today?
Jimmy G.
We pardoned. We pardoned SF. We made a mistake and just corrected Heroku, but we actually pardoned SF Giants Mania and Jimmy G.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Exactly.
Oh, man. And then, of course, Heroku, which was on accident.
Yeah. Michael Roeder says, it was me, LOL. He said he was listening most of the time, just couldn't chat. Oh, man. You
see, that's so you should have sent something or you should have emailed or something.
I don't know how. Yeah. Anyway, it's too bad we can't play "Welcome Back, Kotter." We'd get a strike, but welcome back.
I know. Yeah, that was some great music, though, right?
Yeah, welcome back. Who was Epstein? Remember Epstein?
Welcome
was Epstein the guy with the big fro?
Epstein. Fro.
And Jimmy Walker, Jimmy, and then there's a couple other guys. That was a great show. Yeah. You know what the guy's name was? It was the actor that was Cotter. It was Gabe Kaplan.
Oh, well, there you go.
Almost Gabe Kaplan. Gabe Kaplan. Oh, my goodness. Gosh, that's a little too close for comfort. That's a little too close for comfort. What's that?
Oh, it's senior. Now I just got to get MF to unblock me. I don't know what happened with that. That was weird.
MF blocked too?
See, I think it was an accident. It was way back in the past. It was funny. I don't know what happened. They couldn't see each other's chats. It was weird.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. They totally glossed over my call. They cut me right off. I was going into what I'm going to talk about right now. So that's a great segue. I'm about ready to go on a rant. So get ready, folks. I don't know where it's going. It'll just be shooting straight from the hip. But here it goes. I haven't planned it. I haven't written it, but I'm going to let her fly. This whole ordeal with Brandon Crawford and Farhan Zaidi. Eric, could you pull up also look in the PC there for you? If you could grab that while I get rolling. How about
this?
Here.
We need to get on this here. I can't zoom in any more than that.
What is that? That looks like Chinese. I can't read. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is the article. You know what? I can pull it up. Hold on. Let me pull up the article here first, guys.
Oh, here we go. It's right here.
Here we go. This
can you
blow it up?
Right here. Can you see it?
Can't you blow it up any bigger than that?
More?
Yeah, more.
No, that's it.
All right, let me pull it up. Hold on here. I'll blow that.
Okay, you're gonna pull it up? All right, go for it.
Yeah, I will blow that thing up to the let's see, what do we got here? Is this it, maybe?
It's whatever you sent to the group chat. I just brought up that guy's Twitter.
All right, here we go. Dak Prescott. Here we go. Oh, I don't want to do that. That gives me a sore throat, man. I don't know how I do that. Oh, man. All right. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right.
It's not very big. Oh, hold on. Let me do this.
Is it?
Hold on. Why isn't it? There you go. Try to make it. What the heck? Oh, you got. Hold on. Full screen layout. There you go.
There we go. There we go. All right. So here's the article in question. Andrew Baggerly. What do you got? All right.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
I don't know why it's doing that.
All right. It should be pretty
That's
enlarged.
Big. It's just you can't see us. That's fine, though.
Yeah, no one wants to see us anyway. All right. It was far too quiet. Cardinals Clubhouse Thursday morning. So Brandon Crawford used his phone to scan Bluetooth devices. He correctly guessed which one connected to the Clubhouse sound system. He cranked up a playlist. Good job, Craw. He did that for the Giants. He was the DJ. All right, so here it is.
Real quick, who wrote this so we got it so we can give this guy credit here?
The Athletic.
Baggerly?
Andy
okay, Baggerly from the Athletic. Got it.
2 G's. Bag, A-R-L-Y. Baggerly.
Gotcha.
It's okay. It was difficult for Crawford to imagine setting aside his lifelong Giants identity and playing for another franchise. He knows it's all been difficult for many Giants fans to accept this week's news of his major league contract with the Cards. So he settled into a new spring training environment in Florida. He wanted to give the fans an explanation. In a phone interview with The Athletic, he wanted to make clear that leaving the Giants wasn't his preference or his decision. The bottom line is, I was not wanted back by the one person whose opinion matters, said Crawford, referring to Giants president of baseball ops, Farhan Saidi. So I went with a team that gave me a major league contract. The Cardinals have a long history and tradition. I've admired and respected the way the Cards have played throughout my career and the way the organization has been run. But the bottom line is I wanted to come back to the Giants. That was obviously the ideal situation for me. Crawford said he made his feelings known to Saidi in November when the club president detoured from the GM meetings in Scottsdale, which is where Crawford lives, and suggested an off-site face-to-face meeting. Crawford told Saidi he was not seeking to reclaim his role as an everyday shortstop. He expressed a willingness to play multiple positions while mentoring Giants rookie shortstop Marco Luciano and other young infielders, such as Casey Schmidt, Tyler Fitzgerald, anybody else that might come up. He said he would be happy in a support role while spending another season making baseball memories for his 4 oldest children, ages 5 to 11, all of whom had cajoled. How do you say that word, Eric?
Cajoled.
Okay. Cajoled him into postponing retirement. I had no playing time expectations, Crawford said. Just help out and be a veteran mentor type for Luciano, Casey Schmidt, Fitzgerald, continue being the guy for Estrada, whoever else I could help out in that capacity. That's what I came to him with. Plus, he was also going to be a great presence in the clubhouse. Crawford recalled Saidi's reception as tepid to the point that he wondered whether it was personal. Yet he held on to hopes of returning when the offseason lurched into 24 and the Giants hadn't added the infield depth they had identified publicly as a roster need. Then the Cards made him their $2 million guaranteed offer last week, and Crawford's agent, Joel Wolf, extended Saidi one final opportunity. I was told I could earn the last spot on the roster like anyone else could as a non-roster invitee. That was the nail in the coffin. Saidi reached by phone, said it would be inappropriate to comment. Of course, you're a weasel. To comment on what was said during his private conversation with Crawford in November, but he pushed back on any implication that personal animosity might have played a part in the decision to move forward without him. He's okay, whatever. You're just full of crap. And what about Crawford's claim that he was willing to play in a reduced versatile role? That assessment's 100% fair, as I said. He had interest in coming back and was open to a different role. The main thing we discussed internally was the challenge of the fit because his status in the organization would actually make this supportive mentorship role challenging for him, even with the best of intentions. I actually don't question his intent or that he would do everything he could to mentor our young players and help bring them along. I just think we expect our younger players will have their ups and downs as young players do, and having the greatest shortstop franchise history on the bench was just going to create a dynamic where it was going to be harder for our young players to play with a margin of error. Crawford said he understood Zaidi's line of thinking, but disagreed that his presence would have made for an untenable situation. With the whole being over Luciano's shoulder thing, I feel I could have made it very publicly apparent that wasn't the case, said Crawford, who turned 37 in January. I don't even want to be playing every day because physically I'm not sure I could do that anymore with how much I've been hurt the last couple of years. To transition to a role player makes sense, so I feel I could have navigated around that. Zaidi's secondary concern, which he expressed on Thursday, was that Crawford wouldn't offer the versatility the Giants will require to round out a bench that is shaping up to include Flores, Slater, and a backup catcher. The last spot has to be someone who plays infield and outfield and can come off the bench and steal a base, said Zaidi, who identified rookie Tyler Fitzgerald as a player in camp who matches that description. Crawford puzzled when Zaidi told him he didn't have experience playing at infield positions other than shortstop, where he's been stationed exclusively for a one-inning appearance on the mound. It was a statement Crawford found especially curious because prior to the 23 season, the Giants were prepared to move Crawford off shortstop without even discussing with them. Exactly. I was just going to say that. I hadn't even read this yet. Oh my, until their $350 million agreement with Correa fizzled. The lack of communication leading up to the Correa agreement wasn't Crawford's only misgiving over how last season transpired. He acknowledged that his final two seasons under former manager Kapler were not very fun at all. And now, not how I wanted to go out. Of course, now we're here, and I knew this was coming. A lot of it was because of injury. Okay. Let's see. Thinking that my career in general, I would have been fine, but I had not gotten any offers. But at the same time, it wasn't how I pictured the last couple of years going. I just pictured having a lot more fun. Yeah, because Kapler's just a jerk. Farhan's destroyed the organization. So that played a part. Crawford's career uncertainty last September made for some awkwardness when the Giants turned their final regular season series into a career send-off. Okay, I'm going to skip because I'm here. Go ahead, take over, Eric. I'm tired of reading.
I can't scroll though. You're going to have to scroll for me. I'll just start on that next paragraph. Because Crawford didn't know last season would mark the end for him in San Francisco, he held back expressing his full slate of acknowledgments to those who made his Giants career possible. He wanted to express those thoughts now. So he began our phone interview by thanking the Giants ownership, former GMs Brian Sabian and Bobby Evans, as well as former scouting director John Barr for drafting him. He thanked the front office for believing in him and extending his contract twice. He thanked the coaching staffs, the training room staffs, the kitchen staffs, the weight room staffs for their professionalism. He thanked all his former teammates, many of whom have become friends for life. And he thanked Giants fans for consistently supporting him throughout his career and for being the best fans in baseball. Crawford had to be reminded, Cardinal fans really enjoy referring to themselves as the best fans of baseball. Well, all I know is the Giants fans were the best fans in baseball from 2011 to 2023, Crawford said. Actually, also before 2011, because that's when I was an actual Giants fan. When the Cardinals announced Crawford's signing, GM John how do you say that?
Mosaic, whatever.
Mosaic, or whatever. We'll say GM John clarified that Mason Wind, a 21-year-old rookie with 37 games of major league experience, would remain the team's everyday shortstop. Crawford was brought on board to support Wind, not to compete with him. Well, that kind of sounds exactly what Crawford wanted to do with the Giants, right?
Exactly.
Okay, got it. The shortstop situation in the Giants camp is different. Luciano is another 22-year-old prospect who saw brief action in his first call-up last season. But he has been told that he is part of an open competition this spring with Fitzgerald and Casey Schmidt. Really? I didn't know that. Did you know that?
It's kind of that way, becoming that way.
I've never seen it actually announced like, okay. The competition also includes Nick Amed, a 33-year-old pure shortstop with a two-time Gold Glove winner, whom the Arizona Diamondbacks released last season. The Giants brought Amed to camp on Monday, the same day Crawford jetted to join the Cardinals in Florida. The difference is that Ahmed's deal is a non-roster contract with no obligations or promises. Luciano, who was set back early in camp with a mild hamstring issue, had made his exhibition debut on Thursday against Arizona at Salt River Fields. In the first inning, he made it. Well, I don't care about that. Okay.
Yeah.
This is getting into whatever. This is something to get into.
All except short. Okay. So there we go. Good enough. All right, guys. Here we go. I'm about ready to just let loose, especially even more so now that I've read the article. Guys, I don't know how to say it any clearer than this. Put my cap on. Yeah, give me center stage here. Farhan, Zaidi, Larry Bear for allowing, and Greg Johnson for allowing Farhan to have this much reign. You are fools. You have destroyed the San Francisco Giants organization. Absolutely destroyed it. Now, I don't fault you for not wanting Crawford back because he hasn't performed the greatest the last 2 years, especially last year when he hit only 194. But what I do fault you for, Farhan, is in November not being blunt and telling Crawford he will not get a contract, guaranteed major league contract, that he is only going to get a non-roster invitee if that's what he wants. But the Giants, under no circumstances, are going to offer a guaranteed major league contract. Farhan, you're a weasel. You're a wimp because you didn't tell him directly. Tell the man directly. He deserves that. He earned that. And frankly, I think he should have been brought back for the reasons that Crawford pointed out. His family wanted to have him back for one final season to send him off the proper way. He wasn't going to take any playing time away. You signed Nick Amed with the idea that he could be a backup shortstop. Why not Crawford, who's been around, who can show these guys the organization and give these guys who already know Brandon Crawford? Schmidt loves him. Luciano's going to learn to be close to him. It was a great way for Crawford to end his career. He's from the Bay Area. Why not just let him go out and be the 26th man? You got such a junk roster. You're holding on to guys like Slater and Yastrzemski because you say these got to play outfield. Guys got to play outfield. You can put Fitzgerald on the roster. You can put I'd rather have Fitzgerald than Slater. I mean, this is just absolutely. And here's my point, the biggest point I want to make in all of this. A player of the stature of Brandon Crawford to come out publicly just days after signing with the Cardinals and letting his feelings be known this early tells you how he has zero respect for the way Farhan has run this organization. You heard it in the article. He hasn't enjoyed the last 2 years. Kapler destroyed it. Farhan was over it. Farhan allowed it. Farhan and Gabe, as far as I'm concerned, are two clowns that should have been thrown completely out of town and never let back in. They're a disaster.
Oh, no.
What? Somebody sign?
Chapman to Giants per Heyman.
Oh,
I'm looking it up right now.
Come
on.
No way.
About to look.
You knew they were going to do that.
Oh! Chapman to the Giants, 20 million, 18 million, 60 million, 54 total, 2 opt-outs. So they're giving him opt-out after the first. He ain't going to opt out.
I told you. He's not going to opt out. What did I say?
Oh, my God. Come on.
Let me
$20
see
million in the first year?
Hold on here. Who's it under? John Heyman?
John Heyman, hold on. Let me actually, whatever. Here we go.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on here. I'm going to pull something up here, guys. I'm going to show you something.
Didn't even get
Hold on here.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that calls for the yeah. Hold on. While you're doing that, this is what it calls. Yeah, hold on. What am I talking about? This is what we need.
Not too long. I can't.
No, this means we're getting nuked.
You need pitching, Giants. All right, so here's the deal. Look at this. Breaking. Matt Chapman to the Giants, 2018-16, 54 million, 2 opt-outs. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull something else up here and show you something on Twitter. Let me go to my home screen. Okay, is my home screen up?
It shows, yeah, your Twitter.
All right, I'm going to show you guys something. Don't tell me that I don't know exactly how things are going to turn out. Where did it go? Here it is. You guys read that? Read that, Eric. With the Cubs signing of Cody Bellinger, 3 years, $80 million. Don't be surprised if the Giants sign Matt Chapman to a similar deal. 3 years, $60 million deal with opt-outs after the first 2 years. But unlike Bellinger, who will opt out, the Giants will be stuck with Chapman, who will block the development of Casey Schmidt. All right, guys. Hold on while I tweet this out. Take over, Eric. This pisses me off. This pisses me off,
man.
All right.
Oh, where the heck am I? This totally just threw me off. Freaking.
There was my rant about Farhan. Yeah. Now he does it again. What an idiot. You need pitching, you idiot. You have 0 pitching. Now you probably don't have the money. Maybe you can get Montgomery still. I don't know. I think it.
Hey, maybe send a tweet though, Larry. See if he wants to come on. He might do his own thing. I'm not sure.
He might be.
But real quick, guys, to go back to Crawford. Here, come on, talk to me, guys. Here, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Look, I was on record a few days ago saying, yeah, it was good that we didn't sign him for if he was going to be an everyday player, right? I get that. You know, Crawford is not an everyday player, and I think it was a good move that they didn't sign him for that simple fact. Okay, but now it's coming out that Crawford actually approached Farhan Zaidi to perform a role that would actually help improve the team, right? Actually help improve the team. He's sitting there willing to give veteran mentorship to the likes of Luciano, Schmidt, and Fitzgerald, and Tyro Estrada. That is invaluable. That's invaluable when you got a guy who is as accomplished as Crawford as far as being in the field, how to act like an MLB player. That it's priceless, right? And he was willing to come here, not wanting to have the playing time. It had nothing to do with playing time. It had to do with he wanted to help the organization that has been so good to him. So what do? So you tell me, what is more valuable, to have Brendan Crawford mentor these young guys that we got coming up, or Amed playing? Do you value Amed playing shortstop over Brendan Crawford able to teach your young guys who are coming up? Right? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Look, I understand that he wasn't going to come here on a everyday basis. I get that. That makes sense. I get it. But he wanted to come here in a mentorship war. Tell me what Luciano, Casey Schmidt, Fitzgerald, Who else in that infield currently with the Giants could do what Brandon Crawford could do for them? Who? Is JD Davis going to be a good mentor? Maybe. Who else in the infield? Who else is in the infield is going to help these young guys coming up? Who's done it? Who's did it last year and, prior to, all the way back to 2011? This is the perfect guy that you want in the clubhouse to help your young guys. And then if need be, he plays a few innings. Yeah, Matt Chapman will probably be a good mentor. I get that. He probably will. But you got Casey Schmidt that's supposed to be a third. Casey Schmidt should be the guy at third base. Look, Crawford wasn't asking to be this to be the everyday player. He just wanted to help the organization. $2 million. $2 million, guys. Who would be dropping off the 40-man? You pick one. Pick one. Who cares, right? I'm sure there's someone on the 40-man that could be dropped off. I don't like it. It just goes to show what Farhan values. God. Whatever. Now, well, I guess we could get back into the news here. Chapman's our new third baseman. I guess it sounds like he's got 2 opt-outs. I'm waiting to see. Let's see if there's anything more coming. Alex Pavlovich, patience pays off for the Giants, who remained in on Chapman and Snell and waited for prices to drop. Bob Melvin gets his guy. Yeah, there's nothing new. There's no stipulations on opt. I'm sure it's player opt-outs there, Bora. I'm pretty sure
it's player ops.
Player. I don't get this, man. So I'm guessing it's Casey Schmidt going to play shortstop?
Who knows? He probably won't even make the team.
He may not. He may be in Sacramento. Because I haven't heard anything what's going on with Luciano. I thought Luciano, when you read the article, I didn't realize there was a competition for shortstop. I thought it was Luciano's. Was it? Yeah. Wasn't it Luciano's? And then, yes, it was supposed to be Luciano's. And I remember just recently Farhan said that they were looking for a backup shortstop, right?
Yeah.
You think Snell's next? Okay. If Snell's next, I'll be happy. If Snell's next, I'll be happy with that. Not happy with Chapman. Not happy with Chapman. All you're doing is you're blocking these young guys. You're blocking them. If that's the case, then why don't you want to keep shortstop or Brandon Crawford at shortstop? If you're willing to have Chapman at third base, why wouldn't you want to keep Brandon Crawford at shortstop? Isn't his defense doing okay? Isn't his defense is fine, right? I hear a lot of people talking about the glove of Chapman. Well, doesn't Brandon Crawford got a pretty good glove? So why wasn't there a clamoring for Crawford to come back at shortstop? They had JD Davis. Yes, thank you, Senior. They got JD Davis and Casey Schmidt. Blake Snell's next. Right. We'll see. Smart. Okay. I like that. It makes sense if it's Blake Snell's next. Because they need pitching. Gosh dang it. They need pitching, guys. Pitching. You don't have a damn starting rotation. You don't. You got Webb. You got maybe Hicks. You got Harrison and maybe Wynn. You got no fifth start. Where is the starting rotation, guys? We need a third baseman? We need a rotation. Oh my gosh, man. Am I missing something? Do you think maybe there's something cooking? I don't know.
JD Davis has to be gone.
Somebody. But what about the starting rotation, Dan?
Well, if you move Davis, that's $7 million. I would move Davis and Yaz in a package. Look at what Matos is doing. I mean, I know it's spring training, but you can't block Matos.
But he's the future. I agree with that. I'm not going to sit there and say
you could get rid of $15 million right now if you moved off of Yaz and Davis in a deal. Move JD Davis and match and Yaz and Slater. That's $19 million. Boom, off the books. $19 million. Move Conforto too. Exactly, Morkatna. That's $37 million. You could go ahead and sign Snell. Move all those guys. Crud. Move Luciano out to left field. Put Matos in right. Put Fitzgerald at short. Or Schmidt. Put Schmidt in at shortstop. Luciano in left, and make Tyler Fitzgerald your Chris Taylor that moves around. God. Yeah. So, geez. Hold on here. Let me just do something real quick.
I feel bad because we had to give Crawford a little bit more time, but it seems like events have transpired.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to put a poll out there, guys. Poll time. Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, Will Martinez on the bright side. Farhan gave us content. Yes. Gave us. Hey, that's two signings in the we had Soler. We missed by 15 minutes, but we
came right back on though. That was cool.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, you know what? Let me change. I'm gonna edit this.
I'm getting warm in here. I got to turn my AC
I'm editing
down.
Our hold on. Here we go.
What are you editing the thumbnail?
Yep.
You can do that in midstream?
Yep.
What, the Giants sign Chapman?
Yeah, I'm gonna change the if you want to take it, I can make a quick new thumbnail as well.
Take what? The show over?
Just talk while I'm working. I mean, I could talk at the same time, but
I can't do that.
Save changes. All right, we changed the title. And I'm gonna get
Crawford hit 194 last year, and his defense was slipping. So yeah, I mean, it was not a great year for Brandon Crawford. I mean, I see Farhan's point. I get it, but just be direct, because it should have never come to that. During that meeting, he said Zaidi was tepid. That means Farhan was too weak to tell Crawford face to face, we're going in a different direction. It's time that we move on. Nothing wrong with that. You have every right to do that. What you don't do is act tepid and act like you're not really sure how to do this. It's like, oh gosh, he cornered me. What do? I don't know what I don't know what to do. Just be a man, Farhan. People respect you a lot more when you're direct and blunt. I mean, this is what's pathetic.
Can I ask you a question? Well, never mind. Where was Buster Posey?
Everybody's done this.
Should have Buster Posey stepped in here somewhere? Maybe. Shouldn't he have? Some executive take executive action.
Maybe he knew about it. I'm sure if Crawford was called him, I would hope that Brandon would have called him and said, "Hey, look,
that seems like we're talking about $2 million. Is the roster spot that?
think Crawford would have come back for $1 million. I don't even think it's the money.
It's ridiculous.
I think if it would have been like, hey, look, we'll do it for 1.2 million. Somebody says Bora's dead on. What did Bora have to say? Did he say something in the chat?
I think he was asking if it was a.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
This is just. I mean, I don't think he's going to give you any more production than JD Davis would have given you. Frankly, can you pull up last year's stat head between
give me
JD
a minute.
Davis and Chapman?
I'm doing this new thumbnail real quick.
All right,
give me a minute here.
We'll pull that up.
Totally. Dan, don't you think Crawford would be more valuable teaching your young guys than having Nick Amed?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm just tired of what Farhan he does. He says one thing, does another. It's just getting old. It's just Matt Chapman. I'm telling you guys, I don't think I may be way wrong on this. I could be completely wrong. I think he strikes out a lot. I think he plays every day almost. And I think he's Evan Longoria 2.0. I think he's probably a better defender than Longoria was, and he'll be a great defensive player, but I don't see him being – I think you're going to be stuck with him for all 3 years. I really do. And I think you're going to get declining production, and I think you're going to get you're going to block Casey Schmidt. Where is going young? Casey Schmidt was a Gold Glove third baseman in the minor leagues. He was the talk. I'll pull this up. I'm going to pull something up here, right here. Hold on here. Let me get to it. I'm a male. I can't talk and type at the same time. Hold on here.
I got the poll out there right now. Make sure got 83 votes in there. Hey, appreciate that, guys. Right now, happy with the Chapman signing is sitting at 55% no, 45% yes.
It's unbelievable. Hold on.
Sorry for the dead air, guys. I'm just trying to get
we're working on stuff, guys.
Didn't expect this.
Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. I'm typing and doing stuff. Both of us are here busy.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Almost done.
All right. So, guys, there we go. All right. So everybody stay tuned. I just was just typing there to Larry, and he'll be joining us shortly when he finishes taping.
All right, cool. All right. I think
the new
thumbnail.
Look at that. Banana bread, fresh out of the oven.
Nice and warm. There you go. All right. I think I got the new thumbnail up. I'll show you guys. I don't know if you guys could see it. I'll show you.
Hold on. I got to go tell my wife that this is great. Be right back.
Oh, man. All right. Let me get rid of this. For those who are just joining us, why not? G. Martinez. Oh. Oh. Hey, Dan, should have taken Kapler's advice. You should have just texted your wife. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, I heard that. That's funny.
Oh, there we go. That's the new thumbnail that's up there right now.
Let me tweet that out. Email that to me. I'll tweet that out. We're probably the only ones on it right now at 10.
Probably.
9.
I bet you we are, because we happen to be live going on our damn rant. And then all of a sudden this crap drops.
Gosh, you knew you had to know it was going to happen. I thought with the pitching woes that they're having that they would go to the pitching. This is ridiculous, though. I mean,
that's not a need. That's not a need. It's the rotation.
What is Heroku says, Jim, if he does that, I'll go to a game in 25. What's Jim saying?
I don't know. Jim who?
I don't know. I'm pulling up the chat here. I'm going back. I'm not sure.
Vita, I like it. He's going to hit 210 with 12 home runs.
Did you email me? Oh, you got it. I got it.
Yeah, it's emailed. You know, it's funny because you even said that at a hitter's ballpark in Toronto, which is fairly, right? It's kind of a hitter's ballpark, right? He couldn't do much, right? Yeah, he had a great April. The rest of the season was kind of dookie. Gosh, man. Come on, Ken. If they get Snell, I will not be upset, Darren. I will not be upset if they get Snell. I will be happy. You will not see angry Eric. You'll see happy Eric if they get Snell. Los. F. Farhan. The end. What if Melvin wanted Chapman? Probably did. Oh, well.
Oh, of course he did.
That doesn't change what I feel. I don't want him. Maybe he sees something. He will fit in. Yeah, I'm not saying he will. He's not. Of course, he's a major league player. So yeah, will he fit in? Absolutely. Is he going to do anything on this team? Don't know. That's his guy. Yeah, exactly. Ocean View. That's his guy.
Who, Melvin's?
Yeah. I mean, but he had that. Melvin had the same guy in Casey Schmidt, right? Maybe his bat's not as developed as it was with Chapman at the level he's at now. But my gosh, you had Chapman 2.0 with the glove right there in your roster. I don't know, Senior. Is JD Davis on the move? Is he?
I think so. He has to be. You're not going to keep an $8 million guy sitting on the bench. $7 million? $7 million. Where's he going to go? You're going to play him at first base with Wilmer Flores? You can't. There's no place for him.
Why did that switch back? There. Damn. Let me see something. Let me refresh this. Yeah, maybe it won't switch. Thought it would.
Let me see something here.
It might not do it till afterwards. The poll's still showing people 54% say no in being happy with the Matt Chapman signing. 46% say yes. Gosh dang it. Yeah, I don't know if I can edit it. Ooh, yeah, I can. Here we go.
So let's see if anybody else has got this on here.
All right, let me do that. There we go. Your channel. Refresh. There. All right, let's see what we got here. 46% are special ed. Come on, D-Shot. Come on, man. I know where you're going, though. What a disaster. Giants lost 500,000 pool in the upcoming international signing. Really? Gilbert Gamboa, Dan, says that Giants lost 500,000 pool in the upcoming international signing for next year. Is that because they signed Chapman? You're muted, Dan. Is
that because of signing Chapman or what?
It must be because of signing Chapman. Must be.
Jeez.
Okay, Sicko, I get what you're saying. The defense is there, but what about the bat? Baseball is more than just defense, right? And especially at the heart, don't you want your corner infielders to have some pop in your bat? Am I missing something? Isn't that how it always been with base? Is something changed? Did I not get the memo? Is it third base and first base? Aren't those the guys that are supposed to be your wallop guys? Right?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not complaining about the defense. I'm complaining about what the damn Giants need. The Giants need, they don't have a starting rotation yet. What am I missing, guys? Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Is there something that I'm missing? We don't have a starting rotation yet.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know who's going to, how they're going to stop people from scoring.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Look, if they absolutely get Snell, I'll be happy. Because now you're addressing the problem that you have.
If you get Snell, you've drastically improved your team because you know what?
Chapman is two aces at the top. Yes.
Chapman is an upgrade as far as defensively and probably, a better hitter than Schmidt. He's better than Schmidt now. But if you don't do anything with the pitching, you're wasting Matt Chapman signing him because you're now blocking Casey Schmidt and you're paying money out to prevent you from going out and getting other needs. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Vita for life. I don't think he's a better hitter than J.D. Davis. Could you put those up, the stat head, J.D. Davis and Matt Chapman?
Yes.
Just
last year.
You could even do the last 2 years.
You want to go 2 years?
Go 2 years. Because Davis didn't play much.
We could do 2.
He wasn't playing as much with the Yankees. I mean, the Mets.
Man, I love this damn stat head.
Harish71 says Giants offered Jock Peterson a contract this offseason. Oh, I hope not. That would be just ridiculous. I mean,
why not? You spent $19 million for him to be fat. Why not?
You brought that's just unbelievable. But these guys didn't want to come back and be with the Giants. Crawford only wanted to come back because he's a lifelong Giant and it was a natural fit.
He wanted to retire a Giant.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kapler and Farhan screwed it up for him.
Yep.
Look, I know it's not about the player, but damn, man. So
Slusser says, I've confirmed Chapman to the Giants, opt-outs each year, And this does not mean they are out on Snell. They are still very much in.
Okay, we'll see. Let's see what happens. Maybe someone will break later tonight. Maybe. Yeah, Mitchell and Nets. I don't know if you're going to see Luciano start this year, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going on with that. You said you wanted to last this 22, and you just want 23 or 22 and 23?
22 and 23.
Okay, here we go. J.D. Davis on the left. Matt Chapman on the right.
Plate appearances.
Remember, J.D. Davis in 2022 didn't play a whole lot, right? Not as much as Chapman.
Geez.
But it's not that much of a difference, though, if you think. I mean, the WAR, yeah. I think the WAR is going to be mostly because of the defense.
Yeah, but look at the at-bat plate appearances and the hits. They're not that far off. Only 47 hits, but Chapman has almost 300 more at-bats.
Yes. The batting average, fairly the same. On base, about the same. Slugging, almost the same. OPS, almost the same. OPS plus, almost the same. So it's not that much of a difference. But you're going to spend this. You're going to spend $20 million for Matt Chapman this year. $20 million for this year.
Wow. Let's just do last year's. Look at last year, I bet. Well, let me see. Oh,
I'll change it. What's up?
I was going to see those comparisons.
Oh, here we go. We'll go with 23 here. Just last year. This is what's going to last year is going to tell you this is why they're paying him $20 million for this year. Mm-hmm. There you go. Pretty damn much the same player. Pretty much the same player.
What?
It's the same damn player. The only reason why his WAR is better is because his defense. I guarantee it.
What's this? I don't understand. Slusser's not making sense. She says 11 minutes ago, and yes, I'm told he will play third base, much as I would love to see Matt Chapman play third base. And then 4 minutes ago, she says, I mean shortstop. Sorry, everyone. I'm at a concert and have had, some bevs. She's saying Chapman's going to play shortstop? She's saying this doesn't
read the next tweet.
Here, let me pull it up here. Hold on. Let me pull it up for everybody to see here.
Dylan Cease, forget about it, man. The asking price is way too much. Way too much.
Okay, pull that down right there for a second. I'm going to put this up.
Holy crap, 220 in the chat. Hey, guys, those who came in, please make sure you guys hit that like. And if you like what you're seeing, subscribe. Appreciate that, guys.
Check this out. I'm not sure exactly. Some say Boris says that Luciano's getting traded. Book it. Maybe.
I said that. I said we should trade Luciano, to be honest.
What is this? Look at this. This one is 12 minutes ago.
What?
12 minutes ago. And yes, I'm told he will play third base, much as I would love to see Matt Chapman play third base. But then she says here, wait a minute. Now she took one. Wait, did she take the other one down? No, 6 minutes. I mean, shortstop, everyone. Again, I'm at a concert and have had some bevs. So what she's saying is, I would love to see him play third base, but I'm told he will play shortstop. They're not bringing in Chapman to play shortstop.
Hell if I know. Oh, now it's 51% people are happy with Chapman and 50-50. Straight down the middle.
Right.
Kind of figured that's where we were with this, as far as Giants fans are concerned.
I don't understand what they're talking.
No. Hey, Roman, look at the numbers, man. It's because of his defense. He's a better defender. Look at the numbers.
Talk to me. I'm trying to get you to. I'm
I'm not going to believe whatever she's saying right now because she doesn't know what the hell she's saying. I think she's inebriated. I'm not going to listen to what a drunk person has to say, to be honest with you.
There's no way that they signed Matt Chapman to play shortstop.
No.
I mean, why would you do that? That would be
exactly.
Like
that doesn't make sense. All right, real quick. So Roman, you said you're talking about how. Well, okay, yeah, 4.4 WAR to 0.9 WAR, but look at the offensive numbers, man. It's because of defense. The batting average, Davis is better. On base, they're off by 5 points. Slugging, they're off by 11 points. OPS, what is that?
16, 17.
Yeah. OPS, damn near the same. OPS plus, taking into consideration the ballpark, damn near the same. They're, as far as the bat is concerned, look, I get the defense. I get it, guys. I get the defense. I'm talking about we got to have someone that's also going to be able to swing the bat. He's a third baseman. A third baseman is supposed to be able to hit the ball hard, right? And I get that. You save runs, you win games. I get it. But who the hell's going to pitch? Who's going to pitch, guys? Look, if they sign Snell, I'll change my mind. I will change my mind, okay? But we're talking about a starting rotation that's not even complete yet, right? Where's the priority, guys? Where's the priority?
Can you put I want to put this up courtesy of Alex Pavlovic Twitter. Courtesy. Can you do that?
Yeah, I got it. Let me edit. Courtesy of Alex
Pavlovic.
X.
Pavlovic.
I think I got it right. Save. And I just put, there you go.
All right. I want
to. Yeah, high pitch 2.0. Absolutely.
I want to bring up something that we've been talking about with Matos's.
Let me get rid of my stuff here.
Where is it?
Everyone's saying Snell's next. You guys must be in the know because I haven't heard that yet. I know they're talking, but I hear a lot of talking. I've heard a lot of talking about Giants signing certain people. A lot of talk. We need pitching, guys. If you want the glory days of 2010, 2012, and 2014, we have to have a starting rotation, right? I'll tell you why I'm upset, Mike. Probably because that may be the only guy we get. We'll see. I could be wrong. Like I said, I admit when I'm wrong. But if this is the only, if this is it, we got a problem.
Okay. Hold on here. All right.
Dan, we got 226 in the chat here.
Wonderful. We love it when they do something good. Okay. Here's the deal. Spring training stats are usually meaningless unless you're a 22-year-old who put on 13 to 14 pounds of needed muscle, and you're now showing it off every time you play. Here we go.
Yes, Val.
Matos hit 2 today, guys. Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Oh, don't do volume. We're screwed.
There is no volume on there, is there?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, can we turn it off?
Yeah, it's off now. It's off now.
Okay. I didn't know. I can't hear the dang volume. Okay, so it is on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. We should be okay.
Was that the first one or the second one?
I'm not sure.
Okay, here's
that's the second one, I think. That's sound.
No. Turn it off. I don't know how to do it. I can't.
You have to do it. I can't do it.
Well, where the heck's the sound? I don't even. Oh, there we go. All right, here we go. Starting it over.
Yeah, it is just fans cheering. True. It's the same one, yeah. Isn't it? Looks
That's
like
the first one.
All right, guys. Seems like we're split right down the middle, right? 50-50 on what you guys think as far as the Matt Chapman signing. Right now, it's happy with the Matt Chapman signing. 52% say yes, they're happy. 48% no, they are not happy. Okay, guys. Okay. I'm going to adjust the poll, okay? I'm going to adjust the poll because I want to know what makes you happy. What makes you happy about signing Matt Chapman? So hold on, let me do this. We're pretty much split down the middle. Pretty much.
We're going to have some special guests joining us here shortly, guys.
Nice. Got a new poll out there, guys. I want to know what makes you guys happy about signing Chapman. Is it his glove? Is it his bat? Or is it both? I really want to know what this I'm not going to give Farhan Zaidi credit right now. No, because he didn't address a need yet. You got Casey Schmidt at third base. Casey Schmidt is at third base, right? Come on, he's the young guy. Everyone's talking about play the young guys. And then you sign this guy who's on the backside of his career. Come on. Casey Schmidt. Chapman is playing shortstop. What? What is going on here? So you think Schmidt's playing shortstop versus Luciano? Man, there's something. I mean, I think this move is begging the question of what exactly is going on. I'm kind of confused. Yes, exactly, Marcon. You read my mind. It's a little bit confusing. What's happening here? Outfield. You know how many damn outfielders the San Francisco Giants have right now? Starting pitching is the need. That is the need. You have the future in Casey Schmidt for third base.
All right. Oh, so this thing keeps going on a reel, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So Matos hits 2. That's 3 this week. You know what?
Let's get more into this chat.
Here's where I'm okay with the deal. If they sign Snell.
Okay. Yes.
Or Montgomery. I become okay with it because now you're filling your team up with some bona fide major leaguers in that you would have Soler, Chapman. Your defense gets improved.
Okay.
Saw a report Chapman turned down 150 from Toronto. I have a hard time buying that. Real hard time buying that, Eric. No,
that's not me.
No, Eric.
Oh, Eric L. Gotcha.
Yeah. This one here. I believe you. You saw that. I just have a hard time believing that report is accurate because why would you turn down 150? He's not going to get 150 combined after this contract ends. Unless he thinks he's going to, have a great year. I heard he injured his hand last year a little bit. Maybe that had something to do with after he had a hot start, he got injured. Maybe, if he performs half of what he did in April of last year, it would be good, but I just don't see it. And we welcome in everybody to the chat, fresh off the recording. Nothing to like. Here's Larry Krueger.
What's up, Larry?
What's up? What is up, guys? How are you?
Hey, we were live, and all of a sudden I was going on a rant on Farhan about the Crawford thing, and Eric just goes, "No! They signed Chapman." I'm like, "Oh, man." So here we are. Matt Chapman to the Giants, as I predicted, 3 years. I said they'd sign a 3-year, $60 million deal with opt-outs, 3 years for $54 million with opt-outs each year. So I was only $6 million off. I got the first year right. I thought it was going to be 20. It's 20, 18, and 16. I think you're going to be stuck with them for all 3 years. I think it's going to, personally, I think it, by the time you look for Gacy Schmidt, he's going to be like 28. And I don't know. This is if there's another signing of a pitcher, I can live with it. But if this is all they do, if this is what they do because they don't spend any more money and they chose to allocate it into Schmidt versus pitching, I think it'll be one of the stupidest moves in the history of the club because they have no pitching.
Well, they definitely need more pitching. I mean, they definitely need more pitching. No doubt about that. I mean, on one hand, I mean, it's time for all of us to kind of get realistic about the Giants' prospects. You know, we can speak endlessly about all the prospects that were supposed to be something that never were anything. Mm-hmm. And yet, when you talk to Giants fans, and I fell into this trap when I was a younger Giants fan as well, all of the former failed prospects you just forget about, and you just assume that all of the on the verge prospects are all going to make it. You know what I mean? Was Kurt Ainsworth good? No. Was Jesse Foppert good? No. Was Jerome Williams good? No. Was J.R. Phillips good? No. Have the Giants had an outfield prospect worth a damn in our lifetime? No. So why should we believe that Marco Luciano is going to be any good?
True.
Why should we believe, I hate to say it, that Casey Schmidt is going to be any good? Why should we believe that Matos or Ramos are major league? Why should we believe that the next group of Giants prospects are all going to be stars? But the last 25 years of Giants prospects, outside of a handful during the Sabian era that were mostly first-round picks, outside of those guys, Giants prospects haven't done jack. So I hear you. The downside is this blocks Casey Schmidt. The other question is, what if Casey Schmidt is ticketed to being the starting shortstop because Luciano's not ready? Because they don't. If Luciano
be traded, maybe.
What if Luciano literally is not ready? And then what? You know, what if they couldn't sign Snell and Chapman, but they could sign Chapman and trade Schmidt for a decent pitcher that they can plug in? So I don't know. I mean, it's in and of itself, I don't, for the exact same reasons, you know, first of all, it isn't a 3-year deal. It's 3 1-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is.
Exactly like Bellinger got, except just less money.
3 for Chapman, but maybe, or 3 1-year deals for Chapman, but the Giants are in a, it could be a win-win if he plays well and it gets him into a playoff and he opts out. But if he stinks, could be a
3-year deal.
It could be a 3-year deal, and it's a win for Chapman and a lose for the Giants.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at Chapman, the last 3 years, 17 homers, 27 homers, 27 homers, and 2 Gold Gloves. and then we're looking over at Casey Schmidt from last year, and Casey Schmidt, didn't hit at all and hit 2 home runs or something, right? So, I mean, I like Casey Schmidt. I'm a Casey Schmidt fan. The reality is he hit 206 with 5 home runs in half a
What was
season.
his home run? What was his home run total last 3 years for Chapman? It was 17.
17,
right?
27, and 27, I think.
Okay. I heard last year he was he got hurt or something, maybe hurt his hand. Maybe that's where the production
We got
fell
off to a hot start. Last year he
Yeah.
got off to a really hot start and then was ripping it early and then got hurt.
Okay.
So
So if he hits 25 homers and plays stellar defense, then I'm on board.
he was hitting 384 with a 465 through the end of April.
If he can perform if he can hit 250 to 260, hit 25 homers, have a OPS plus of 110 or north of that, and drives in 80 runs, hey, I'm good.
Isn't that what Longorio's supposed to do?
Well,
just saying.
Yeah, I mean Chapman. If you look at his numbers, I didn't realize
he's better than Longoria.
Yeah, he's better than Longoria.
Ned's coming on?
Yeah, he is. Ned said he's going to come on. So,
nice. Well, I mean, I will say this about it. It's like one of the reasons I've been absolutely shitting on the Giants is that their 3-4-5 only includes one guy that should hit 3-4-5, and that's Soler. Yaz is not a 3-4-5 hitter. Wilmer is not a 3-4-5 hitter. I mean, they don't have a middle of the lineup. At least now they have 2 guys that could hit in the middle of the lineup. Now, Chapman, who knows exactly how he'll do, but at least you've got some major league caliber guys. They're too thin. They're just too thin of a baseball team. They just needed to be deeper. Today they got their first Cactus League game win. And they've been playing games for a week. So it's
definitely a trade coming. I think it's going to be JD Davis. Ideally,
who needs a third baseman right now?
I'm not sure,
Chicago?
but he can play.
Chicago?
Cubs, Toronto.
I thought Chicago had that Wisdom kid. No?
I thought he went to.
Did he go somewhere else?
Thought he did. I'm not sure. But
the Giants just need more everything. They need a more legitimate starting pitching and more legitimate middle of the order bats. Maybe Jung-Hoo Lee is the ignition at the top. I'm not convinced, but maybe.
Yeah.
Soler is a big time bat. Marco Luciano's hasn't gotten a hit all spring yet, right? He's 0-for.
Yeah. Hey, look who we got coming in here. The great one. The great Ned Coletti joins us.
Look at that. The crowd's going crazy.
That's a little much there, but I'll take it.
Welcome, Ned.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were just I was actually in the middle of a tirade and the signing came through. I was going off on the Giants for what I thought was the mishandling of Crawford. My point on the Crawford deal was you didn't have to have him come back. You could have it's fine to move on. But you should have told him that when you had the face-to-face meeting in November and just said, look, Brandon, we love what you did for us. We appreciate everything you did, but we're going to go in another direction. And if you want to come to the club, it would be as a non-roster invitee. You made him wait all the way till this week to think that he might still have a shot because, just don't like the way that's handled. I would have been blunt and direct with him. I think he earned that. and grew up in the organization, grew up in the Bay Area. His kids and wife talked him into playing one more year. He wanted to come back as a mentor, didn't even want a job as playing anywhere near, just as a backup, was willing to play all three infield positions, mentor the young guys. And my feeling is, and I don't expect you guys to comment on this, this is just my take, for a man of Brandon Crawford's stature and the caliber and the professionalism that he's displayed over his entire career, to come out and voice what he said tells me that there's a lack of respect for the way he was treated. That's all I'll say. But that was what I was going off on. And then the signing came in. So we switched everything up. And now we're on to Matt Chapman. So give us your takes on everything, what your thoughts are on all this, Ned.
Where do you want me to start?
Start wherever you want.
I think Chapman's a good sign for this team. I think the term is excellent. I think maybe one of their best signings in the last few years. Kid's not, beyond perhaps the peak of his career or something close to it. And 3 years, right? 3 years and 18 a year.
2018 and 16 with an opt-out like Bellinger after each of the first years.
Yeah. Well, Scott balanced it so every year is worth less, which gives him more incentive to leave. You said 2018, 16?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the market keeps going up in 2 years, 16 will seem like 19. So, I think it's a good deal for the Giants. I think it's, I pay attention, not as much as you guys probably, but I think it's one of their best signings in a while. And who knows? I mean, did they say that they're out of the starting pitching?
No, Susan Slusser reports they're still very much in on Snell.
Well, they know Scott's number, obviously. They've been calling it for a while. You add Snell to it, you know what? It might have a chance to be a second place team.
Yeah.
Ned,
Ned,
what do you think of not to interrupt Danny, sorry about that. But Ned, what do you think of you've negotiated with Boris before? I mean, we're late in this thing. Where spring training's already, a week or so underway. It's March 1st now. Games are already started. Do you think Boris is the kind of guy that would say, hey, man, you sign my guy over here and maybe we can get something done? I think there's probably more of a market for the pitcher than the hitter at this point. I'm just guessing on that. But do you think that you've dealt with Boris before. You've literally probably left him messages. He's left you messages. When you read this, do you think that the signing of Chapman, the Giants have lots and lots of money. Do you think this makes it more or less likely that they would sign Snell?
I think it makes it more likely, but I don't think the deals through Scott are connected. I don't think it's sign one guy and we'll bring you the other. I don't think you can really go about it that way, nor I think he would go about it that way. That's not his style. But I think that the team is better. And I think there's for players who want to compete, you have to have a team that's going to have a chance. Otherwise, it's, as they say, it's all about the money. If they have no chance to win, and they have no chance to win during the duration of a contract, and really in the near term, then it is all about the money. But if you think you've got a chance to win, and that's what drives you, then this helps them. There's no doubt this helps them, and that's what I like about it from the Giants' perspective. You got a good player, not over his prime, maybe at it, maybe starting to detail a little bit, but still a relatively young player that is going to entice other people to think about coming here now, as you got free agent pitching sitting out there. And they need it. They're going to need it. So I think it helps them. We'll see how how it plays out in the next little while here.
The deal's growing on me a little bit over the last. I've been pretty boisterous about not wanting Chapman because I didn't want to block Casey Schmidt, and I felt like it's better to go ahead and sign 2 pitchers, like both Montgomery and Snell, and then put Schmidt in at third. Put your money into pitching because I think pitching is what wins World Series. Especially, you're not going to beat the Dodgers on the field, but maybe in a short-term 5-game series, if you meet them in a wild card round with 3-4 solid pitchers, that's your only shot. You're not going to beat them, at the plate, scoring more runs than they are in a slugfest. So maybe the best bet is shutting them down. But as I listen to you say this, and the deal being the way it is structured, I'm not as against it because he may opt out. And if he doesn't opt out, he's got a tradable contract if you want to move off of him. And it does decrease as the cap theoretically goes up higher in the next couple of years. So, it does add defense. And if you have great defense, that might attract more star pitching. Yeah,
I want to go back to one of your first things you said in this little segment here. I don't think anybody knows enough to say, well, we're just going to go get the 2 pitchers. This isn't a grocery store.
Right.
I mean, it is so far more deeply complicated than that you just can't say, well, I would have spent the money on the pitching. Well, did Scott come to him and say, here, take 2 of the 3. Give me whatever you want for 3 years. And no, that ain't happening. There's individual markets for everybody. So teams don't have those options. Those options don't exist. I'm going to take, he's got 4 guys there, one outfield, third baseman, couple pitchers. I'm going to take the 2 pitchers. Doesn't go like that.
Yeah, you got to make a deal.
Yeah, it could.
Takes 2 to tango, right?
No. And you can't pass on the sure thing. If you know you need somebody, you cannot pass, especially at this point in time. Yeah, it's late. It's getting late in the spring for the free agents. It's also getting late for teams, let's say the Giants, to get their team better before opening day. You know how hard it is to get your team better once the season starts or once the free agent market of quality players is gone? Guess what you'll be paying?
What's your evaluation of Casey Schmidt? I mean, that's the other thing. I kind of agree with the notion that Danny has that, hey, I hate to see Schmidt blocked. But then, you know what? I mean, we've been talking about Giants prospects forever. I mean, Ned, like, we could write a book before this live stream's over about Giants prospects that, took our breath away, that never had a career. And Casey Schmidt last year didn't do much. I mean, Casey Schmidt, he hit 232. Oh, no. What did he do? What did he do last year? Casey Schmidt last year hit
206 or something.
206 with 5 home runs in 253 at bats.
And you're going to let him block Chapman?
Yeah, that's what I mean, I like Casey Schmidt.
You're looking for more material, Danny, so you can rip them all season long.
What's your evaluation of Schmidt, though? I mean, he's obviously a good-looking prospect. Lots of Giants prospects, Ned, did it in the Cal League and didn't do it above the Cal League.
The Cal League is a lot further away from San Francisco than whatever your GPS will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's miles away. And it's not a good performance. I'm not talking about Casey Schmidt. It's not a good performance here that looks like a big league player. So, hey, let's go. The big leagues is almost every day. Almost every day where you've got to be at that high level. Not 2 days a week, not 3 days a week, but like 5, 6, the best 7 days a week. It takes a lot. Nobody knows the player better than the front office. Nobody knows any player anywhere better than the front office and to some extent, the new manager in this situation. But again, he's been around a long time. He's seen what he's seen. I have no problem with that. Look, these are competitive leagues. This isn't the try hard league. This isn't, hey, let's give somebody a chance league. No, you got to win. Think how much heat Farhan's taken and the Giants have taken.
Just on this show alone.
Think how the season ticket numbers. Where are they at? Where's the attendance at? I don't have an answer. I don't know what it is. All I know is when I watched last year, I saw empty seats quite a bit. So you're gonna block a guy with Chapman's resume who's gonna accept a 3-year deal that he may be gone after 1 or gone after 2.
Yeah, my biggest gripe was just don't sign him to a 5-year deal.
Oh, they didn't,
which is great. Is great. So I'm a little more, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I said so a couple days ago. If they sign him to a 3-year or less deal, I'll be okay with it. Got a question for you up there on the board.
I see it there. Well, Matthew, it's typically the way it goes is the opt-out is a huge advantage for the player. So once you get your arms wrapped around, okay, we'll give the player an opt-out. The next part of the conversation is from the agent, we're going to get it front loaded. We're not going to take if it's $100 million, let's say, for 4 years. It could be 25, 25, 25, 25. No, we're going to take a 30, a 30, a 25, so that as you get deeper into it, the incentive financially to opt out or to have a renegotiation with that team gets stronger. You will rarely see an opt-out that escalates in value. Okay, because the team wants the player. The team wants the player. The player wants, the agent wants the player to be able to go get more or make the team he's with pay more. You can't do that if you're going 20, 21, 29, 30. It's not going to work like that. So that's not uncommon. That's actually common.
One of the interesting quotes I thought from the week came from one of the Giant beat writers who tweeted out, Melvin, when it was mentioned to him that there are still free agents who could help a suddenly shaky rotation, said, "You think?" Now he's a first-year manager. What do you give me your interpretation of that, Ned? I mean,
of that quote?
Well, not of that quote, of a manager looking at the free agent market, maybe in his first year. I don't know what was promised to Melvin as far as, hey, we're going to spend the money to build you a team. I mean, he came here, I'm sure, with the knowledge that the Giants have pretty deep pockets and have the money to build. And he's looking at free agents that could, many free agents that could help his lineup or rotation. And that to me sounds like he's a little frustrated. What's your interpretation of Melvin saying, "Hey, you think?"
I think he's just stating the obvious.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't mean that you can just go and do it.
Right.
That sorry, but that's like the knee-jerk reaction. Oh yeah, well, let's just go do it. Really? You better, the agent better be an employee of the club, and the player better already be an employee of the club. Yeah, it's not that simple. So yeah, there are people certainly out there that can help. But would you want any one of those pitchers for 8 years times 30? Not me. But maybe that's who knows where they're at? Who knows where the competition is at? We don't know enough. We can speculate, and that's why shows exist. But yeah.
But you've done this job. Not, we're doing it theoretically. You've done this job. You've sat in this seat. Without naming names, have you had a manager, whether it was when you were the general manager or the assistant general manager, say to the general manager, "Hey, what about this guy? Hey, why don't you go do that?" You guys, there's a lot of pressure to win in the big leagues, and yet there's less pressure probably, as you stated, kind of in March than there is when the bullets are flying in April. Were you privy to those conversations where the manager's like, "Hey," I
don't think anybody ever said, "What are you doing? You better go do this." No, people said, "Hey, where are we at?" My conversations with managers for almost my entire 40 years were daily. They knew my thought process. No matter what state, or they knew the organization's thought process when I was young in the game. There was no surprises. They were always kept up to date. They always knew what the thought process was and kind of the likelihood of where we were going, even speculatory. And so, it wasn't like they had to wake us up. Hey, Sabes, you realize that Blake Snell's out there? No. Everybody's talking. Everybody, and I'm assuming that that's the same way here, that there's communication with your top people really on a multiple time basis in the course of a day. No manager I ever worked around was surprised by something that happened.
Ned, do you want your manager to give you his input, what he would like to have, or is that just the jobs are separate?
The input that is invaluable to me was the input of, no, I don't want that player on the team. I would never put a player in the room that the manager legitimately didn't want. If it was somebody who our scouts really liked, who had looked into the character and the personality, and who I looked at, and we had a real good feel, and the manager was kind of iffy on it, I'd say, okay, you got to tell me, where'd you get the info? Is it somebody that had a bad year with the player? Is it somebody that didn't get along with the player? Was it a personal situation with the player? What is the basis of the, I don't want anything to do with it? And if it's legit, that player ain't ever showing up in a clubhouse unless he's coming to say hello to somebody, because that will never work. But you do ask opinions sometimes. But the main difference between, and this is a generality, but the main difference between a manager's thought process and the organization / front office baseball operations part of the deal is baseball operations has to look from 30,000 feet at today, a week from today, a month from today, 6 months from today, a year from today, 3 years from today, 5 years today. Most managers, they have a little bit of a understanding of that. But you know what they're thinking about? They're thinking about March 1st. How today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have to take that, there was, I had, one of my favorite people, continued to tell me, hey, we should add this player. We should add this player. We should add this player. I finally said, player can hardly play at this stage. When did you last see the player? Well, it was a while ago. Well, we're not in that business. We have people that are out there day after day after day looking for talent, looking for players. So, yeah, you'll get that once in a while. But you kind of set the tone with everything. Everybody understands where everybody's coming from the get-go. When you hire a manager, they always kind of knew how I was going to be and what my thought process was. I'm sure Sabes did the same thing. And Sabes didn't hire Dusty. Bob Quinn, I think, hired Dusty and Peter McGowan, or maybe Peter McGowan, and then Bob Quinn came. But you have to set that stuff up at the outset. This is how I think. This is how I do business. Don't say yes if you really can't do it, because it's not going to work. But the managers were always in my situations were always kept abreast of everything.
Wow. Got another question up there for you from one of the chat members. Why do you sign Chapman when you have JD Davis?
Well, tell me about JD Davis from your perspectives.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's as good of a defensive player. We just put their side-by-side stats up just a few minutes ago before you came on.
Their bats about the same, but of course Chapman's got much better.
Yeah, their WAR was like four different. There was a difference of about 4 in WAR, and it was mostly defense. So,
well, the defense may be, as you guys said earlier, maybe enticing to a pitcher. Whether it's enticing to sign another pitcher, it's certainly better for your pitching staff.
Sure.
And, as a pitching staff is constituted right now with some guys hurt and people coming back in middle of the season and things like that, the last thing any staff wants to do, especially a staff that is maybe thin, is give up 4 outs an inning.
Hmm.
It's tough enough getting 3. You can't give up the 4th. And you know what? With the DH, there may be at bats for everybody. And you know what? Something else I just thought of that I have always thought is invaluable. Invaluable is competition.
Oh yeah.
You've got to have competition. And as we went through the lineup a couple nights ago, I kind of stayed out of the fray of it. But most of you thought, well, it's not that strong. Where's the tough part of the lineup, right? I mean, where's the thunder? So, along with that is, where's the competition? You got to have competition.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I mean, obviously Chapman's going to be the third baseman. They didn't sign him to compete, but it does change the situation, I think, at shortstop, because they have Luciano, the young guy that they've been the number 1 prospect in their organization. Casey Schmidt has kind of, I think, is better defensively at shortstop. And then they've got this kid, Tyler Fitzgerald, and then they brought in Nick Amed on it as a non-roster from the Diamondbacks. So they've got 4 different guys at shortstop. The question for you on this, Ned, is as a person in your position, you sign a guy. Do you have a move already in mind, a trade for maybe a JD Davis or a Marco Luciano when you make this move?
You may.
Or do you just get the guy that you want and then figure it out later? Or it could be either or, I guess.
It could be either or. Trading is tough. People are always willing to say no before they say yes, and it's much easier to say no for most GMs. But it gives you that opportunity. It gives you that option. Look, he's a good player. He's going to help the team, and he's going to create competition. He's going to play better defense. He's going to strengthen that. And they may have another player that's a good player that somebody else really likes, that says, hey, I'll give you X, Y, and Z for that player. Well, there's cachet to that. There's an asset to that. So that goes back to the competition thing.
You got a fan there.
That goes back to the competition thing.
Yeah.
You've got to have it. You've got to have competition. You've got to have some players in that locker room that are pissed off that they're not playing. Okay? You've got to have it. You've got to have it. They may be best friends, but they want to play and they want to compete. And the more you build of that with legitimate players, the better your team's going to be. It's almost impossible.
That's a great point. With Luciano and Schmidt, I could see that. I could see a battle there.
To have a team that's maybe mediocre without competition, you're stuck.
They got to be deeper. They've been too thin.
Team has an injury or two. What are you doing then? You're done. That they have maybe. It sounds like there might be an opinion of, well, they might have a little bit of excess right now at that part of the infield, right?
That's a good thing.
Maybe is that a bad thing?
No, I think it's a good thing.
It's an interesting time, isn't it? Because now GMs have to build their roster in the midst of spring training. This is becoming a larger reality every year, which is
free agency certainly makes you do that.
Yeah. As far as Danny's other opening salvo, as far as the Crawford thing, Crawford hit 175 last year. He's 37. He's made $100 million. I'm not a Farhan fan, but I'm not going to rip him on this one. I think it makes more sense to have Nick Amed than it does Brandon Crawford. Now, go with me on this for a second. I get it. People are like, well, no, wait a second. Crawford, the Giants fans love Crawford. And that's part of the issue, is that it ain't about him anymore. It's about Luciano. It's about Schmidt. It's about the next guy coming down the pike. And I've always believed this, whether we're talking about basketball, football, baseball, hockey. I just think some guys have a harder time. I mean, we see it sadly in life. People have a hard time handling the different stages of their life. They were real optimistic young people, and then all of a sudden, they're having a real hard time in their 60s or 70s or whatever, because they're just having a hard time because, the decisions they made and the way life has come at them, and it's just they're having a hard time. I just look at it's easier to say, hey, we're going to DFA Nick Amed on June 28th. If you do that to Brandon Crawford on June 28th, now you might set your team into a tizzy, and your fan base and your talk shows all into a full-blown, side discussion that distracts from the play on the field. Nick Amed and Brandon Crawford for this discussion are essentially the same guy. They're both older guys, good at defense. Crawford hits left, Amed hits right. Obviously, Giants fans love Crawford. They have no relationship with Amed. But in this situation, I don't fault Farhan at all. For Crawford to come out and be like, hey, I wanted to be here and this and that, we get it. But there was a big emotional goodbye, Brandon, at the end of last year. Now you want us to go back down that road, bring you back and have another tear-jerker, emotional goodbye where the announcers are into it and the talk shows are into it and the fans are having poll questions and we're all debating it for a backup shortstop at 37 who hits under 200. I think it's the absolutely right move to nip this in the bud. You had a beautiful send-off for Crawford. He's had a wonderful Giants career. And go with Nick Amed. To me, I think Farhan made the absolute right move there. I don't think it's a nothing move. I think it's actually significant. Not that for what they give, but for the impact that it could have on the clubhouse, the franchise, the fan base, so on and so forth. Ned, give me your thoughts on that. I mean, ushering a great player into retirement has to be done delicately. And I just think that Nick Amed is a better option in 2024 for the Giants than Brandon Crawford. And I love Crawford, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
We've all been through it where you have somebody who's a fan favorite and somebody that has, he's probably a Giants Hall of Famer. When they get around to getting to that group, I mean, he's going to be up on the wall like the rest of the great players here. He's earned that. That doesn't mean that you don't move on from that. Okay. And 2 points. I always, as much of a traditionalist and sentimentalist, perhaps melancholy, whatever that I can be, I could never jeopardize what was best for the team over an emotional decision. And you can never negotiate when you're emotional. Never. Passion and emotion are two different things. You can be passionate about somebody, a negotiation, a position and a negotiation. You can't be emotional. And I could never take the emotional piece and substitute that over what would be best for the organization. And the second thing is, and I haven't lived here for a while. So, I can't separate, Buster from Crawford, from Panda, from Belt, and then you get the pitchers, the Canes, the Lincecums, the Brian Wilsons, the Ryan. I can't separate the hierarchy of love for them. I would just say all those guys are beloved Giants for all of time. So when do you stop? If you do it once, do you have to do it the next time too? Or why didn't you do it with one of the other guys? Buster retired. Why didn't you keep Belt here? Why didn't you keep Pablo? I mean, it's like all that. I know Pablo's, perhaps back, but it's, you have to keep what is really the best for your baseball team for today, tomorrow, a month from today, tomorrow, and through the end of the year. And you know what? As tough as it is, and all I know about Crawford is that I have huge respect for him. I think I spoke to him maybe 2 or 3 times, during BP or something to say hello, or he came over to say hello. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he went to UCLA, but he's from up here, and he played up here, and he starred up here. But there might be something too for him that he's not even aware of yet. The freshness of a new organization, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Could be good for him too. It could give him a different view. Do you think now it's 2 players, and I think Brandon played here longer than Justin Turner played in LA. And Justin had, Baltimore a little bit and the Mets, non-tender, and then I signed him, and he went off into one of the great careers in the history of the franchise, certainly in the last 40, 50 years. Do you think he wanted to go to Boston? I don't think he did. But I think if you, in a quiet moment, if you asked him how he liked it, what he learned, what he saw differently, these guys are baseball rats. They love the game. They may want to manage in it. They may want to do something else in it. You go someplace else, your bandwidth of what you know and are accustomed to, it's challenged. Nobody likes change, okay? But to become comfortable with the uncomfortable, I think, is one of the keys to life. So at the end of this season, Brandon Crawford may say, you know what, I hated not wearing a Giant uniform from beginning to end. Some of that's his choice because he decided to keep playing, okay? But it may not be a bad experience. He may end up loving the chance that he had got to do something new, play in a different city, live in a different place, understand the fandom of St. Louis, which is rabid, might be the best fan base in the country. Think of the size of the city. It may be refreshing to him. And you know what? To Farhan's defense, sometimes you got to move on. And something that we don't know, none of us know. We don't know the relationship that exists there. We don't know if it's been rocky at some point in time. We have no idea. I'm not surmising that it has been. But I what I do know is this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So for me to speculate, somebody was treated poorly, fairly, wrongly, disrespectfully. I don't know. I don't know what went on. I'm getting one side of the story.
Yeah. I agree with you that it's time to move on. We said so as much a couple nights ago after he signed. We were on here and said we thought it was best that he didn't come back. My only thing is the way it was handled, because I think they had a meeting face-to-face down in Scottsdale after the general manager meetings in November. Crawford requested he meet face-to-face so he could. We read the article from Baggerly on here.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Crawford explained to him, and he felt like that Farhan was tepid. He presented what he wanted, wanted to be a mentor, wanted to be a backup, was willing to just be in the background. My point in all of this is that was the time to tell him, thank you, but no thank you. We're going to move on. Because to leave the door open where Crawford thought maybe because when Crawford got the deal with St. Louis, he had his agent Joel Wolf call Farhan one more time. He still thought that door might be open, and that's when he was told you can come as a non-roster and compete. He should have told him all along you're welcome to come as a non-roster back in November and compete, but we're not going to give you a guaranteed contract. That would have, I think, made Crawford know. But the fact that he still thought there was a chance tells me that wasn't told to him clearly. And I think that's where I fault Farhan. That's just me.
But Danny, then I, and I love being on your show, and I love, I enjoy our conversations. I would have to be sure, and I hope you're sure, that conversation took place the way you laid it out.
Well, I can only.
They kind of gave him a sign off in September.
Well,
so,
unofficially.
Yeah.
We know one part of the conversation that's been reported. we won't probably never know the other half of it.
Well,
And maybe there was a piece of the conversation, and I don't personally. I mean, you guys can talk about it forever. I don't want to talk about it after this comment. There may have been, perhaps the player or a player would say, "Look, I know where I stand, and I know we had the big send off, but I want to stay here. I'd like you to think about this for a little bit longer." And maybe he was said, "All right, I'll think about it a little bit longer." We don't know that didn't. I don't know that didn't happen.
yeah. I mean,
But
I
also, I
want to
think
thank SC Baller, by the way. That nice scouting report. Appreciate it.
one more thing on the Crawford thing. It's just that just because Brandon in his mind had identified a role that he thinks he could play, Farhan's job is to understand not just what the players want, but how that's going to play in the room and how that's going to play in the market and how that's going to impact the team. And let's be honest, if the Giants decide they want to DFA Nick Amed, it's going to be a footnote. If the Giants decide they want to DFA Crawford, it's going to be an emotional situation.
Amen.
And how many people want to introduce? I mean, it's kind of like having a third string quarterback that the fans have super strong opinions about. Do you want that? Or do you just want a third string quarterback? And I don't fault Farhan for dodging this bullet because he knows that in his mind, there's no way Crawford's going to reascend to the starting position. So now we're talking about a player that people have strong opinions about who's going to be sitting there on the bench. And is it fair to Melvin to have the talk shows all summer long going, why don't they play Crawford? Remember in 2012 when he did this? Remember in 2017 when he did that? Is that fair to Melvin?
You're right.
Yeah, we said that on the show the other night.
We both got to live with
that. We brought that up. We felt like it's not good to have Crawford hanging over. I think it should have just been portrayed that way. And I mean, I'm looking here at the article. Farhan says he's not going to comment. He did say when asked about willing to play a reduced role, that assessment is 100% fair, Zaidi said. He had an interest in coming back and was open to a different role. The main thing we discussed internally was the challenge of the fit because his status in the organization would actually make this supportive mentorship role challenging for him, even with the best of intentions.
Well, Danny, can I just read what you have right there? Don't move it. Just leave it right there. He's like, I actually don't question. This is Farhan. I actually don't question his intent or what he would do, or that he would do everything he could to mentor our younger players and help bring them along. I just think we expect our younger players will have their ups and downs as young players do. And having the greatest shortstop in franchise history on the bench, it was just going to create a dynamic where it was going to be harder for our young players to play with a margin of error.
Totally agree.
I think that is.
Yes. Like I said, my point is I agree with all of it. I think Farhan made the right move. Where I disagree with Farhan is that for Crawford to come out and publicly say what he said is very rare of someone of his stature. Tells me the communication was dropped somewhere because Crawford still thought he must have had a shot at signing a major league deal. And I think it should have been. What's that?
Or wished it.
Maybe wished it, but I think it should have been told.
Would you think about this?
I think it should have been told clearly to him that we're not inviting you back we're not giving you a roster spot.
Well,
but look at Farhan's way. Farhan, you can tell he's a guy that likes to avoid any kind of conflict or verbal conflict on the record. I really believe that. He stayed on the kind of the perimeter of Madison Bumgarner. He knew exactly what Bumgarner represented, and he understood what. So, did he say we don't want Bumgarner? No, He just made sure that his offer was such that Bumgarner's agent understood it and then relayed that not in front of the crowd, but in a private conversation to Madison and his wife. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I've been very critical of Farhan at times because I feel like Farhan makes too many of these, hey, we picked up a guy today, and 7 weeks later, before he ever even had an at bat, we're DFAing him, and he plays a little bit of this kind of, he loves to play with the 25th and 25th and 26th spots on the roster. He loves to play with the 38th, 39th, and 40th spots on the roster. He's the guy in fantasy who's Dan Cochimilio. Everybody else has made 16 moves, and he's made 48. That's where Farhan likes to juggle. He likes to unearth gems and play with those final roster spots, almost in my mind to a detriment. And and I've talked to Giants coaches who have told me, there's a little bit of a chaotic feel around our club as Farhan attempts to get every incremental advantage throughout the regular season. We're gonna leave this guy here. We're gonna bring this guy up for one day to face this pitcher, but then he's gonna go out on Sunday, but then he's coming back on Tuesday. And there's a little bit of a, I don't know what you want to call that, but he's hunting for incremental advantages over like going with like, these are our guys. And I don't love the tone that it sets. But in this spot with Crawford, I think he's absolutely in the right. Can I ask a question while we have Ned here about Blake Snell? Ned, what do you make of Blake Snell? Because it sounds like the Giants are maybe still in on him. He's had the most interesting of careers in that these are the win-loss records of his career. 6-8, 5-7. 2018, he goes 21-5 with a 1.89. 2019, 6-8. 2020, 4-2. 2021, 7-6. 2022, 8-10. And then here we are in a walk year, 2023, 14-9, 2.25 ERA, and wins the Cy Young Award. He's 71-55 career. His averages are like 13-10 over his career is what he's averaged over 162. What do you make of his baseball card? That's a very unique card, isn't it?
Yes. It's can he help this team in the next year or two? I said it the other night. Yeah, he can. 3, 4, 5 years from now, if I was forced to say, I'd probably say doubtful. So how long do you want to go? How much you're willing to pay today for tomorrow? But he's occasionally he would come out and it'd be like, we'll have our hands full with this guy. Other times it's ball 1, ball 2, foul ball 3, long counts, falling behind, good stuff to sometimes get you out of it, but sometimes you can't get out of it. So I don't know. I had somebody tell me something that was it's profound to me because of the business that has been my career. And somebody told me, they said, why would a team sign a player, look at a player's career, and every free agent, with rare exceptions, is going to be at the earliest 27, 28, sometimes a little bit earlier, but hardly ever earlier, and almost always later. Why would you look at somebody with 6 years of history and sign them for a longer term contract than above average years that they've had? So to go to what you just said, Larry, there's like 2 outstanding years, big money that you would, if you put a dollar figure on them, you'd say, oh yeah, big money years. Another one that was shorter, I think 2020 was a good year, but obviously abbreviated, and a few other years that were kind of nondescript. So how many, if there's 3 good years out of how many, are you going to give somebody 6 and expect that to happen? Most of the players at this stage of careers don't get better. If you're fortunate, they're at the peak and they're going to hang there for a while. So why would you give somebody who's had 2.5 really good years 5 years and expect that to happen? It hasn't happened yet. So, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, could he help the team today? I don't know, barring that he's healthy and they would do medical to be sure as they could. Yeah, he'd help him today. He'd help him tomorrow. You're going to help him in 26, 27, 28, 29. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think there's some coin flip coming with that. And do you want to take that on? And do you have to take that on? It's.
I agree. Hey, I appreciate your comparison to me and Farhan, Larry, because the only difference is I built the most dominant fantasy football team maybe in the country.
That's not the only difference. The other difference was Farhan knew how to log on for the draft, where Danny struggled to log on for the draft.
Danny, are you in a fantasy league with Farhan?
No, not no.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe after tonight. Maybe after tonight.
I would like to be. That would be. There'd be some good trades, maybe.
That would be awesome.
I think he'd take you to lunch.
I wonder if he'd be calling Farhan 2:00 in the morning.
I think he'd take you to lunch, Danny.
No, not in fantasy football.
Yeah.
My team was just like I said. I built my team for the playoffs. My 3 wide receivers, get this, were Tyreek Hill.
Oh, here we
Bob
go.
Brown,
Here we go.
and Justin Jefferson.
I got a big work on them. When you have to talk about that one,
my running backs were Oh man, I had a team, man.
When a guy starts talking about his nothing clears a room faster than
That's so much.
let me tell you about my fantasy team.
Let me show you some grandkid pictures.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's great.
So anyway, but no, I mean the Giants, one more move with a starting pitcher. I think they are a
What?
wild card contender.
Third place in NL West.
They could contend for second. They could contend for second if they sign a pitcher.
You
They
think?
could. Oh,
I think Arizona's got. Well, all things being perfect without, exactly.
Injuries happen.
Right.
Things happen. Things have to go your right way. But I will say this: you got 2 bona fide hitters now, power hitters with Soler, and if Chapman returns to what he did in 22 and 21, 27 homers, then you've got some younger guys that could potentially, who knows? There could be a deal in the works. I would think there's a deal in the works because you've got too many guys on the 40. Chapman's got to come up. Chapman's coming on the 40. So someone's going off, whether that's somebody that isn't that great and you just DFA them, or you make a trade and you move somebody off the 40. And
When's Ray coming back?
Oh, he's not coming back probably until August.
Did they put him on the 60 already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cobb could go on the 60 which I think would be wise. I don't think put him on the 60s out till he misses April and May. And he's probably going to do that anyway. I don't think he makes it back before mid-May. So you're looking at 2 weeks. I think it's worth not having to give up a roster spot right now if you're not ready to.
The other question that has to be brought up, I think, is just that, there's a lot of these guys look good on paper. I can remember Jerome Williams. I can remember Kurt Ainsworth. And eventually, Ned, you guys had to move Kurt Ainsworth to get Sidney Ponson. So at some point, and Sidney Ponson was established and Ainsworth wasn't. And I remember talking to a number of Giant hitters or pitchers in the years after that deal. And, they didn't want to say anything on the record, but off the record, they said, I I always felt like Kurt Ainsworth didn't have it. And I said, why was that? And it was like, well, he was just always so impressed by the hitters that were coming up. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, look at that guy. And so to a major league pitcher who kind of knew the animal, he didn't jive with them. He didn't fit. There was something lacking there, whether confidence or whatnot. And yet Baseball America still said Kurt Ainsworth was here, right? And eventually you guys had to say, hey, well, wait a second. We can't live on this prospect status. I mean, Jesse Foppert was the pitcher of the year, Baseball America, #1 prospect in all of baseball. But eventually Sabes moved him for Randy Wynn, right? Because it was like, hey, you know what? It's not going to happen. So now he's, I think, coaching Marin Catholic, and God bless Jesse Foppert. He's a good dude. But I'm just saying, you guys run the game, and at some point you got to decide, is this guy going to do it? And not only is he going to do it, is he going to do it on the time frame that we need him to do it on? Or is this a chip that maybe, we talked about like Ruby De La Rosa and some of the arms that you guys had in LA where, this guy's got a lot of talent, but man, other team wants him, and we might be able to get something that's a little bit more of a known commodity. I kind of feel like that's really what we saw here today with Casey Schmidt. Not that the Giants don't believe in Casey Schmidt, but is Casey Schmidt's time 2024? Is he going to go from 205 to 270 and 15 home runs? Or is it more like 220? Is it like 2026? And then if you're Farhan, you're looking at him going, by 2026, I may be the Colorado Rockies assistant farm director at that point if I don't get this thing going, right? So it's like you do kind of have to prioritize, right, Ned, between like, it's not just like, is Casey Schmidt going to do it, but is he going to do it right now when we need him to do it? Or are we going to let this ship go by? Because, Chapman was going to sign with somebody. I don't know who he was going to sign with, but he's a multiple-time Gold Glove Award winner. Maybe it would have been at a lesser price, but there was a market for him. Somebody else would have signed this guy. He wasn't just going to be out of baseball. He's way too good. So this was an opportunity. How do you view that, Ned? Because, Ainsworth was attractive. So was Jerome Williams. So was Foppert. So is Casey Schmidt. Doesn't mean that it wasn't the right move to move him.
I agree. As I said at the outset, we talked about this signing. I think it's one of the best the organization has done in a while. I like the term. I like the player. Money's the money, but the term is appealing to me, as is the opt-outs, because everybody will have a choice. Player will have a choice. Giants have a choice to stay with him after they see who he is every day. And the prospect thing is the most, I shouldn't say the most, I don't think there's a most, but it is one of the most important aspects of what you do. You need to know your guys. You need to know what they can do, when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, under what circumstances are they going to do it, as best you can. And when you see a little bit of a mediocre spot or a chink in the arm, crack in the arm or whatever, when you see that, you've got to move on that, because somebody else will see it sown too. And one of the Baseball America thing, I used to just kind of, it reminds me of Major League Baseball rumors. How much of it ever shows up? There's no accountability for it. Many times the rankings are set up because the farm director or the GM gives Baseball America or a different site all sorts of info on other teams, so they're treated a little bit kinder, so they continue to feed info. And so what are the rankings? Who ranks the players? The organizations rank everybody else's players? No. Whatever their system is, some of it's right. Some of it, the bellman at the Westin could figure out, So some of it's nonsense, but
And they're doing it theoretically. I mean, if these guys at Baseball America were so freaking awesome at ranking these guys, wouldn't they be the Yankees scouting director instead
there
of
you go.
the chief editor? I mean, John Manuel is one of my good friends, right? And John Manuel used to be the editor in chief of Baseball America. He's now a major scout with the Minnesota Twins. So I'm not saying that everybody at Baseball America is a clown.
Correct.
And if you're watching
Really
this,
good
please
people.
don't. Yeah, there's good people,
Yeah.
and there's some people that could work in the industry. But Baseball
Good.
America is a magazine created in Durham, North Carolina. If who's making more, the Dodgers scouting director or the editor in chief of Baseball America? So should Baseball America's opinions on these guys be gospel?
No, they're interesting. They've opened up an arena that fans don't know much about to give fans a bunch of info. And I got to get rolling here in a minute. I've got a early workout tomorrow. When people don't have skin in the game, I can't put any credence in what they say. When you have skin in the game and your career leans on it, and your family leans on it, and those who you work with, their careers, their families lean on this as a way to make a living. And when people don't have skin in the game and can pontificate on all sorts of things and rank players and say this farm system sucks and this one is really, really good and all of that, I asked a question. This cat got skin in the game or just talking because they have a platform? A platform doesn't mean skin in the game. And those who have skin in the game do far more research, far more time at it, far more examination from different viewpoints, different windows than those who have platforms with no skin in that game. So that's my sign off for this evening. But what do we got here? Our best players that can't pass.
Oh, yeah, just
Right.
more about the prospect list. Yep.
Yeah. So
Thanks for coming on, Ned. Appreciate you, man.
all
Thanks,
right,
Ned.
guys. Always a pleasure. Danny, every time I come on your show, I always think, boy, I wish Danny was a general manager when I was doing it. I might still be a general manager. Maybe not fantasy football because you sound like you're pretty good at that, but I've never been in a fantasy
Don't buy that either.
Yeah. But I've thought many times, I don't get frustrated with Danny. I just say, boy, I wish time would have put him in the National League West.
Ned, just think of it this way. If you're ever having a high stakes poker game,
Yeah.
send a town car for Dan.
Or if I'm ever shy trying to pay my rent or buy groceries. Hey, Dan, you want to get in the game?
Oh, man.
Danny
Did
has
you tell me
muted
last
himself.
year, Danny, you were like 10 in a row you had lost or something?
Danny's muted himself.
No, I'm not. I'm good. I thought I didn't realize I had mute, but I will say this. I think you may be right, but I think I could have beat some of those general managers out there.
Oh, here we
That's
go.
what I'm saying. I would have loved to have seen you try.
Hey,
In fact, I would have loved to have you rotate teams. So after we picked one team clean, we could go see you again about somebody else.
Hey, Ned, let me show you something before you leave. One thing here, and tell me if I don't know some things about what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you one thing right here.
You're bringing up the tweet, aren't you?
I am bringing up this tweet from a couple days ago because let me see. Where did it go? Come on. Where are you? I got too many tweets in here.
Don't tell me somebody erased it already.
No. Here it is. All right. Now let me put it on the screen here. Just so you know, I could be a GM. I could be a GM. There it is. Right there. Read that.
That's excellent. You got 10,000 views, almost 11,000 views of that.
But 3 years and 60, I was only off by 6 million. And I got the opt-outs. I said 20. I thought it'd be 3 years, 28 piece. It was 20, 18, and 16 with opt-outs. And I do think Matt Chapman will be a Giant for 3 years.
So he had one opt-out?
He's got 2 opt-outs.
He can opt out every year.
Yeah, just like Bellinger.
Okay.
So I called that.
I don't know if you should be a GM, but maybe you should have been his agent because you would have got him $6 million more. Maybe the GM thing is so. Maybe you ought to be. That's pretty good. I mean, you would have saved him commission, and you would have got his commission paid for, and give him a couple extra bucks to buy you a pizza down the street.
I would have had him invest the money with me too.
Oh,
I can already picture it. If he were the Dodgers GM when you were down there, Ned, instead of you, he would have said, "Hey, Frank, whatever you do, make sure you sell those parking garages. Make sure you sell those parking garages."
Yeah, that's turned out to be a bad deal for Frank.
Yeah. Ned, great stuff, my man.
Thanks,
All right,
Ned.
Thank you very much, Ned.
Thanks for coming.
Krueger,
All
always a pleasure.
We'll
Call
talk
me
soon.
after Snell signs tomorrow, okay?
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thanks.
Be well, boys.
See you, Ned.
Be well,
All right.
guys. Thank you.
There we go. Ned Coletti again. Everybody, thanks for the treat of having Ned with us.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I didn't know he was such a comedian too.
That was good. That was good, though. That was good.
I did call it. I called Chapman. I said they'll
You're
sign
only
him.
off by $6 million.
Not bad.
That's all.
That's not bad. Come on.
No.
That's not bad. I also said they would I wanted them. I put out a deal earlier in the year, a couple months ago. They needed to sign Soler and Hicks. They didn't do Bellinger, but so we'll see.
Here's the one thing that I gotta bring up here, and I didn't bring it up with Ned because it's not really a discussion for him, but just from the fans' perspective. So the Giants waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and now it's March 1st. Was the amount of money that they saved on the contract by waiting greater than or less than the amount of money that they would have made by exciting their fans with advanced ticket sales?
Interesting.
I think that one of the major loser aspects of this whole let's wait is it kills advanced ticket sales. Now,
The only thing I got to say to that, though, Larry, is
Does
if
Matt
they would
Chapman
have
move the needle?
the only thing I'll say about that is signing by waiting. You basically signed him to a 3-year deal, which is what Farhan is comfortable with. I believe Chapman wanted $5 and $100+ million, and I would have never done that. I said I was not for the Chapman signing unless it was a 2 to 3 year deal. I kind of hope he has a great year and helps the Giants win. And if he opts out, so be it. It works out. It's $20 million. Big deal. What you don't want is Matt Chapman to stink like Conforto did last year, and he comes back for a second year, and then he comes back for a third year because he's tailing off in his career. That's what you don't want.
It's like you when with every contract you either win or lose. When you sign these opt-outs, it's like you can only lose.
For the most part. The only way you win,
then if you win, you get one good year and the guy walks.
That's the only way. That's the only way you win is if he helps you to a playoffs and potentially a World Series. That's the only way you win. If you
unless you have some awesome deal for Casey Schmidt or JD Davis cooked up, and tomorrow you're gonna flip Casey Schmidt to with Joey Bart and acquire a real good starting pitch. I don't know. I mean, I'm just
I'll
saying.
tell you who I think they might trade.
Go ahead.
I think they might trade Luciano.
I talked about that yesterday.
And play Schmidt at short.
And play Schmidt at short or Fitzgerald, and they may be getting more offers for Luciano that will bring somebody of quality back, an actual major leaguer. To get the quality back for Luciano, it would take trading J.D. Davis and a few others to get what you could get back just for Luciano. But if you can somehow do a trade of Luciano, how about this? Would Toronto be interested? I saw this in the chat earlier. Would Toronto be interested in Luciano, Slater, and J.D. Davis for Bart for
Bichette?
For Bichette at short? Now you have your shortstop.
Wait, say that trade again.
Luciano, J.D. Davis, Joey Bart, and Austin Slater for Bo Bichette. I don't know if Toronto would do that. I have to look at the trade value, see if it would work. But maybe they look somewhere along that line, or maybe they look for a pitcher, somebody that maybe you throw in a young pitcher like a Mason Black along with Luciano and a Bart, and you get back a top line starter.
Well, we all this talk about Snell, and by the way, somebody's like, "You said Jake Snell before." No, I didn't. I said Blake Snell. You misheard that. But Michael Lorenzen threw a no-hitter last year.
He can be had for $10 million a year.
He's 32. His baseball card is not great. He doesn't have 2 Cy Youngs on it, but
Clevenger has better numbers than Lorenzen, and he would be about the same, I would think.
But Lorenzen would be cheaper, and Lorenzen hasn't missed too many starts in the last 3 or 4 years. He's a pretty good athlete, isn't he? Isn't Lorenzen the guy who used to be an outfielder?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not like somebody.
He's a California guy. The guy, he's born in Anaheim. He went to high school in Fullerton. I mean, so maybe, there's the one thing, Ned has always talked about is that, you guys always throw out, hey, this guy and that guy. There's all kinds of guys who don't want to play West. Here, at least in Lorenzen, you got a guy that you think probably would want to play on the West Coast. I'm not sure if the Angels or who else is interested, but
I would sign him because you need him pitching depth, and I would still go after Snell because you're going to need pitching depth. I mean, the Giants could actually. Wow. What's that?
You're saying both. I was thinking. You know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
When I was thinking, if you're saying, what's really the best move out there now? Like Blake Snell has 2 Cy Young awards, and the rest of his career, I don't know what the heck to make of it.
Yeah,
what do you think of a big deal involving the White Sox for Dylan Cease?
I wouldn't mind that at all. Maybe you can, you got Jordan Hicks, right? You can shift Hicks to the 8th inning and Duvall and have a dominant bullpen, or you might be able to do something like a Luciano and a Duvall, and maybe you can get a Dylan Cease, something like that. What
do you think of Dylan Cease?
Then you move. I like him, and then you move Hicks to the closer's role. There's a lot of things you can do. I think the one thing that I like about adding Chapman is it's kind of how I hate to bring this back, but how I run my fantasy team is you get a lot of depth.
I run my fantasy team.
You get depth, that you get extra players so that you have an abundance and you can trade from that. If you have Chapman, now all of a sudden J.D. Davis becomes available, or maybe Wilmer Flores to a team that wants a guy that's a good bat off the bench and an occasional, could DH here and there. it
The
also.
only reason I bring up the White Sox, Danny, is not to interrupt, but they have Martin Maldonado behind the plate. But after that, they don't have a lot. They really don't. They were trying to move Eloy Jimenez. There was talk of them moving Luis Robert. I mean, they've got some guys there, and if you could get Dylan Cease, I mean, Cease, what did he do? He was 7-9 last year, but he's a pretty good pitcher.
I guess White Sox were asking for a ton for Cease. Atlanta,
but
Atlanta
Luciano and Bart might be a ton.
Mm.
Going back, I mean,
yeah. I don't know who Atlanta was going to give up. I think they were going to give up but their farm I don't think is quite as strong because they're all up playing in the bigs.
Let's see what Cease's value is here. I'm going to take a look and see what his Dylan Cease is at a 42.4. So I think if you put together, let me just put together a little trade here for Cease and see what it would take. We'll trade him to the Giants, and then we'll trade. I'm just working on this here. Who did we say? You said Duvall and who else?
Are you saying Luciano?
Well, I was saying Bart. I was saying Joey Bart, and maybe you were saying Luciano could be moved. I'm not sure. I'm not that privy on the White Sox as far as exactly what they're needing and so on and so forth. I'm just looking at Dylan Cease as a pretty damn good starting pitcher.
Here's what it looks like.
He's made 32 starts 3 years in a row, and he's 28. Probably would be. Wouldn't he be almost like the Giants' number 2 starter? Probably.
Yeah, definitely. There's your value. Cease has a 42.4. Duvall and Luciano come to 52. So it's a little bit of an overpay. But if you look at the Giants, their values, the Giants. Here's their values right here when you look at them.
I mean, I want Andrew Vaughn. That's who I'd want. I love Andrew Vaughn, and he's a Cal guy. He's a Santa Rosa kid.
Yeah.
Giants have built around homegrown guys from Northern California. This guy's from Santa Rosa. I would love to. I would grow the deal if I could to try to get Andrew Vaughn and Dylan Cease, and I'd be willing to trade Luciano and Bart and maybe some young pitching and
Yeah, Bart doesn't have much value on the.
You don't think so?
On the trade thing here, let me see. He's got.
I mean, their backup catchers Max Stassi and Corey Lee, so they don't.
Joey Bart, unless I missed him, I'm just looking for his name here. There he is. He's got a 0.5 value, 0.5. That's basically a wash. He's not worth.
The guy can catch and throw. He's got major bat speed. He was the 2nd pick in the country. I mean, I got to think there's some teams that would like Joey Bart.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to have to give up much to get him.
Yeah.
Although I still like Joey. I think.
How about this? Let me show you this.
What you got?
We're playing that game again.
Ooh, what is this? A hitter?
Guess what pitcher is which?
Okay.
Or who would you rather have?
Hold on here.
I'll take the pitcher on the left.
Yeah, the pitcher on the left for sure. Huh.
There we go.
Interesting. Doesn't he have that issue though? We talked about the other night.
I think he has a domestic. But I don't know if that's been cleared up.
That's not going to play in San Francisco.
Yes, exactly.
But look at that. And he would cost you what? $15 million a year, maybe?
Not even. Maybe not even at this point. At this point, guys are going to have to take a 1-year deal. So anyway, wife beater. I won't get into what we talked about last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I mean, to me, it's something's coming. Something's coming within the
You think
next.
so?
Oh, yeah.
Now we know Krueger doesn't have to retire, right? Because didn't he say that they'll make a
Super
major
duper.
move?
He said
Super
superstar. I don't consider Chapman a superstar.
Yeah,
I mean,
Something tells me he does.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Something tells me he does. I mean, you get a Matt Chapman. I mean, come on, man.
And you know,
He ain't no get off the pine meat or what's Kirk's
yeah.
what's Kirk's
You know,
line?
Farhan hasn't exactly had some great success with 3-year deals. Matter of fact, all of them have failed. Every single one of them.
Well,
Every single one. La Stella, he made it through 2 years, got DFA'd. Henniger made it through
I
1
thought
year.
the La Stella move was incredible.
It was, wasn't it? What was that? Oh,
Di Scofani, yeah, not a lot of.
Sclafani, I still have hope for. Oh,
Henniger, La Stella. I mean,
Henniger will be our best hitter all year. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you were just so disconnected? You're like, oh, I didn't realize he wasn't on the team.
We've had a couple guys in the chat. We've had a couple guys in the chat.
Yeah.
Grab some pine meat.
Yeah. I do think a trade is coming. I do think I gotta believe.
Real quick,
like
bring up Potts. Where the Giants are as far as
if this brings it, I don't know if they'll
if
have
they
it
get
on there.
if they bust the CBT. I don't think they bust it, but
oh no,
I don't think there's much more room as far as signing a free agent.
Let me see here again. If you make some trades, I would trade Davis and what did I say? The 3 guys to move: Davis, Yaz,
Luciano.
No,
right?
before everybody came on.
Oh,
Davis, Yaz,
and Slater.
And Slater is let's see, Davis is 7 million, Yaz is 8, that's 15, and Slater, that's 19 million. If you move off those 3 guys, you got Matos. What do you need Yaz for? I just don't get it. Okay, Giants. Looks like maybe they do have Chapman on here. Here we go. Cots.
I want to know where they're at.
227 and the what is it? 237.
They only got 10 million. They ain't
That's why
signing.
that's why they got to move a couple guys.
Yep. So they got to move before they even sign.
Let's see. They got Chapman on there.
Yep. I don't see it.
They don't have him on there, but they're accounting for the money because
That's
went
weird.
up. It went up.
It did go up.
We just looked at it yesterday. It was 197 or something or 207. It was 207. Yeah. So they just don't have Chapman.
It went up 20 up.
Yeah, they don't have Chapman in there. So
now there you go. You got $10 million to work with if you don't make a trade.
You can move off of. I mean, you can move Conforto. That's 18 million. You probably have to pay 6 million to somebody to take it. You can move Davis, Yaz.
Can I ask you guys one other question? It's like after a move like this, as much as I wanted the Giants to do something, does Farhan lose credibility? I mean, he literally just said, we're done doing stuff. And he just went on the radio and said, we're involved in a youth movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then he signs a 30-year-old guy that blocks Casey Schmidt.
Actually, Chapman will be 31 at the end of April. Yeah.
Yeah. So 30, you just talked about a youth movement. Now you added a 31-year-old player that blocks a 25-year-old player.
Right.
And you just said that you were done and now you're not done. It's almost kind of like, how do we know when you're lying? When we see your lips moving. You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. This is kind of like, and I feel bad for Giants fans because they want so badly to believe in Farhan. They want so badly to believe there's a master plan. And there's no master plan. There's no master plan. I don't believe that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. It's like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Everything's just kind of like, yeah, we're out there just kind of, do we have a plan? Or are we just kind of making a series of moves? And I always felt like Sabes and Coletti had a plan. Like,
Correct.
This is our plan. We're going to do this, and if things break right in July, we're going to do that. This doesn't feel like a plan. This feels like, it's just kind of fluid, and we'll just kind of keep shuffling the deck until the cards come up right or we get fired. That's kind of what it feels like to me. TJ Hopkins,
Cooper Hummel.
He's signed and then he's DFA'd. Cooper Hummel, all these guys. I mean, I was going to do a video on all the guys at Farhan, all these moves that Farhan has made. I got 1 year into his regime and I quit on the video because it was like
30 minutes long.
It was like I had like 2 pages of names of guys that he had acquired, and then many of whom he had moved after he acquired them. Dixon Machado and this and that. And it's like, is there a master plan, or is this Dan making fantasy trades? Dan doesn't have a master plan, but at least he admits it. Dan's just seeing what's out there and flying by the seat of his pants. I think Dan is Farhan, and Farhan is Dan.
Man.
Dan didn't know he was going to have Justin Fields in week 2, but by week 8 he had Justin Fields.
I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted
to have 17 wide receivers. Dan's just whatever, he's just flying by the seat of his pants, and so is Farhan. Farhan is Dan.
No. I want a championship.
Farhan.
I want a championship. My moves consistently made me better.
What?
They just made me better.
Dan, we have you on video entertaining a deal, not liking it, and then telling us that you had proposed that deal and you didn't realize you had proposed it. Do you remember that live stream? I wouldn't make that trade. And then you're like, a couple minutes later, you're like, wait a second, I proposed that trade. That's you are Farhan. And the only thing is, you're playing fantasy football and you're having fun. This guy's doing it for real.
And destroying an organization.
And
you're calling me. Wait a minute.
Could you imagine if there were a bunch of Susan Slussers and Bags and all these guys sitting outside of Dan's office in Arizona, going, you know what? I like that move.
What is this?
That move.
What is this?
Let's try to make sense of it.
What are you guys? You and Ned ganging up on me here on my show. All right. So if I'm Farhan, you call me Farhan. I'm going to call you Kyle's fanboy.
Oh, here we go.
Don't even go there.
So what is it, Eli? What is it about being Kyle's fanboy that, boy, that one got you riled up, man? My wife was asleep while I was watching that late in bed, and I woke her up laughing. So I'm trying to say, what are you laughing at? I couldn't stop giggling. Don't call me a fanboy.
An effing fanboy. Don't call me an effing fanboy.
Oh man.
I started just going after people.
Yeah, what's up? Friendly fire.
That's it.
Awesome. It was like a B-52, man. You don't know where that stuff's going.
Just started dropping bombs on everybody. It's like, wait, what? I didn't even. What had anything to do with this?
I turned into the Gap Band, man. I just started dropping the bomb on people.
My reversal move. Look at Mark.
My reverse. Remember that, Larry?
Mark
Oh,
Graves.
look at that. Look at that. Graves.
that was a good play.
That was good.
awesome.
Look at Graves. Damn that Graves.
Should we mute Larry? We could do that.
Oh, come on. That wouldn't be fun.
No. Only I was the one being muted. For those of you who are in the chat that don't know, on Larry's show, Mark Graves had
ultimate control over Dan.
Control of when I was muted and not muted. Yeah, that was fun. And Mark's been to my house like 5 times.
It gave Graves tremendous. What was, I tuned into your channel the other day, and you were awarding a jersey to a kid in the stands. A signed jersey or signed ball.
Oh, yeah.
Was that just a random kid in the stands?
No, that was Carlo P, who is in our chat. He came down from Salt Lake City, and it was his son's 11th birthday. So I went over to the dugout because I was game, and I asked Casey first because he knows me, and he said there's no balls. They put them in the dugout, and then later, Matos. I said, "Hey, Luis," and he turned around. And I told him. He says, "Sure." Then he asked one of the coaches or something. He got a ball, and then they opened a little box that had pins in them, and he made the ball out. I said, "Happy birthday to Will, 11th birthday to Will." And he signed it and handed me the ball. He said, "Just meet me down at the." I was right behind the dugout. He says, "Just meet me down at the end of the dugout," and he just passed the ball to me. So I was able to give it to.
Did he put any nandrolone in it? Matos is about 3 bodies bigger than he was last year.
Yeah, he's pretty damn big.
He's put on 13 to 14 pounds of muscle.
Is that it? He looks even bigger than that.
He looks bigger than that. But
yeah, I love it because he hit 2. Did you see his home runs today? He hit 2 today.
Oh, I didn't. I saw the one to left, down the left field line.
Both of them to left, but he's like, they got out quick. He looks like he's got some power. He could
play him over the other donkeys they have out there.
Totally. And I know one of them was off a right-hander. I don't know if both were because they didn't show the pitcher the way the video was. But do you find today at all interesting from the standpoint too that the Giants signed a third baseman when they have a third baseman? They really have 2, but they didn't sign a starter, and they can't cobble together a 5-man rotation if the season started today.
Exactly.
This is what Willard was saying a couple days ago. He's like, they gotta sign a pitcher. I mean, you know what? You could have
you gotta have at least like 8 to 10 starters, and they have Webb, Harrison, and Hicks.
And Hicks isn't even a starter, in my opinion.
No, he's an 8th inning guy.
8th inning guy.
I mean,
I like what Senior says. Look, he's like, funny how the lame signing comes hours after Crawford shit over Farhan. Panic move to change attention?
On a Friday.
Yep.
It is. I will say this. It is a weird time.
It is.
Usually you make this Jack says breaking Dodgers signed Snell 2 years, $59 million. Is that true?
No.
Oh no! Really?
Let me look. Let me check. That can't be, is it?
It might be.
But isn't it weird that the Giants signed Matt Chapman at 9:30 at night on a Friday night?
That is not true, Jack. Don't do that kind of stuff. Don't do fake news.
Do you find it interesting that normally you make you cut somebody, you fire somebody, you make your undesirable move on a Friday, waste no media day. The Giants make a move like this on a Friday night at 9:30.
Yeah, a little bit weird.
I mean, is Farhan trying to not have them be in the conversation? I mean, if you make that move Monday morning at 9 a.m., you have all kinds of people talking.
Yeah,
It's almost like he doesn't want all kinds of people talking.
exactly. And like you said, the morning talk shows won't be talking about it. You got to wait till Monday. Exactly.
Right. It's like a bad move. It's almost like he thinks it's a, I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, to me, that seems weird.
Yeah.
Didn't you find the timing at all strange?
Absolutely. I didn't even think about it to now, but no, you're absolutely onto something. It's almost like it's like in politics, they don't want to do stuff until after Wall Street closes on Friday afternoon because then the markets get effects and they wait. Exactly. It's the same.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, it's such a bizarre thing. Matt Chapman let's see the Giants acquisitions this year. They've added Jordan Hicks. They've added Jung-Hoo Lee, Jorge Soler, and now Matt Chapman.
And Tom Murphy.
Tom Murphy.
You look so
Stop with your Tom Murphy. Backup catcher.
Tom Murphy.
I would have just 4
But I
minutes.
mean,
Bart.
you could make an argument that Chapman is maybe the best player they've signed. He's definitely the most accomplished player they've signed. Right. Jung-Hoo Lee was in the KBO. Soler, I love the Soler move, but Chapman's a Gold Glove winner.
Oh yeah, don't forget Cooper Hummel.
Come on, man.
Cooper Hummel.
So, but now the Giants have spent $220 million in this offseason.
Isn't that interesting though? That the biggest, most high-profile move of their offseason they made on a Friday night at 9:30 in the midst of spring training.
Good
just
point.
Seems very, very odd. Wouldn't you want to, I don't know, maybe make that move like Thursday morning so a bunch of people could hop a flight and get to Arizona and watch them in Arizona this weekend?
Right.
But instead you make it on a Friday night, almost like you're expecting there to be a major negative backlash.
I wonder.
It's weird. It's a weird timing. That's for sure.
Probably not ready to play until sometime next week.
Yeah. Maybe the timing has no impact. Guys, I gotta get up early too. I'm live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with the coach talking Niner football.
Nice.
So I better jet, but Danny, Eric, it's been good.
Hey,
Larry.
Larry, real quick. The KC coach, I saw you and Jesse. And
KC lineman?
No,
the KC coach, Dave Merritt.
Yeah. I'll send you the full 13-minute interview that I found. It's actually pretty good. It's the context is you only got a little bit of a short clip of it. The full context of what he said is a lot better. I actually like what he has to say. He seems like a really good guy.
Seems fiery. To me, it seemed like he was attacking the head coach, but you know what? Maybe that will work. Maybe he's what they need.
He was saying that this was happening. Something was brewing before the Super Bowl. He said I did also find out that Vish had said why wasn't he a defensive coordinator earlier? It's because he had young kids that were playing high school football and stuff, and he didn't want a defensive coordinator job.
I love the fire. Yeah.
I'll send you the clip. I'll text it to you.
Have a great night.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
All right.
Wow. Thanks, LD.
Yeah. What a show tonight, huh?
Got anonymous out there, man. It's awesome to see you, man. I used to love chatting it up with you in Larry's show back in the day. That was fun times.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. I was showing this while you guys I was trying to want to get to it, but there's some side effects to signing Chapman. Forfeit their second selection for this coming year's draft. And you got to give up $500,000 for their international bonus. They really haven't hit on there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. And if they were to sign Blake Snell, another qualifying, you'd lose their third pick. I don't see it happening, man.
I don't know.
I mean, you kind of are talking about it. Even if they wanted to, as far as just money is concerned, you got to have to move off some guys.
Yeah. But hey, great show tonight, man.
No doubt
we
about
got
it.
breaking news, man. Maybe
Twice,
man. We need to keep going on, and we'll get. I got to believe that the pitchers are going to sign within the next 3-4 days. I don't see this. I can't see this going into next weekend, where that Snell and Montgomery wait till next weekend.
The position players have signed, but not the pitchers. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to believe it's within the next 3 to 4 days.
I don't know. This is going to be. It put things in flux, though, because I'm really trying to figure out who's going to be our shortstop.
We got 250 almost still in the chat. If you would do this for us, hit the like button. I know those are in the chat have already subscribed. Hit the like button because it does help push out this video a little bit more with the algorithms. So I don't know how many likes we've got right now. How many we got in there?
How many? Looks like we got 90. Now we got 92. 92.
See if we can pump that up to about 200, man. It would really
200.
If everybody just X out of the whatever they're don't X out of the whole thing, but just
don't X out.
Just where you can get to the like, just hit the like because it actually will push this the way YouTube
they can all
works.
see the like. It's only us that can't see it because we're in StreamYard.
Yeah, we can't see it. So hit the like and then it jumps up the YouTube just pushes it out and it shows it to more people. That would be really
real quick. The poll, we wind up getting 293 votes.
What poll
makes
was
you happy?
the poll?
I said, what makes you happy about the Chapman signing? 49% say the glove, 6% say the bat, but then 44% say both.
Huh. Okay, so
there you go.
Yeah, I could have probably predicted that. When you put the bat, that's going to as only, and you put both, that's going to dominate.
They say both.
Yeah, no one's just going to
say. See.
No one's going to just say the bat. Yeah, I like Heroku. Neither.
Yeah, I should have put neither in there. I guess I should have put that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems that's a split kind of down the middle. It seems about the excitement about Chapman.
I'll tell you, a trade's coming. I just don't know. I mean, there's a lot of options that they can go, but there will be a trade coming. So, anyway, guys, I know there's still 200 plus in the chat, and we appreciate. Where did we get the likes up to now? Did we zoom past 100?
I don't think so. Let
me look.
Yeah, we did 109.
Hey, all right. Went from 92 to 109. That's
that's awesome. Appreciate it.
Keep going, guys. Keep going. Just hit that like button. Really appreciate it.
Look at that. We even get sound effects. Woo!
What was the sound effect?
No, you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh Lord. All right, let's get into some music here.
Should I do the national anthem? My whistle.
I want to pass on it.
Yeah.
I want to pass on the whistle.
Pass.
Yes, Kyle, we did throw in subs. Appreciate all the support out there, guys.
Yeah, hey, thanks, guys. We'll be back on Monday at 8:30 Pacific time. And you know what? If they make a signing of Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery over the weekend, we'll do a special on that. So thanks for joining, guys. It was awesome night. Giants made a move. I guess I can say it's probably better for the team for this year. I don't know if it makes it a playoff team. I have my doubts. This alone does not move the needle for me to put the Giants as a wild card team. It's going to take starting pitching. So if this is the move, the only move they do and they're done, I think it's I would have to disagree with Ned and say I don't like the move because I think it doesn't move the needle enough to get you to the playoffs, and
exactly
it inhibits Casey Schmidt from actually becoming what they thought he could become when you drafted him.
You're losing losing a year to see what Schmidt has.
Yeah,
a full year. Give him a full year. See what you have.
If he signs a starting pitcher, quality starting pitcher of Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell, in addition to with this Chapman move, then I'm good.
They're gonna have to make a trade though, because otherwise they don't get that deal done. They don't have enough room on the cap.
Yeah, that's why I say I think a deal's coming. A deal's coming. Whether they may not go after, maybe they go after a different pitcher other than Snell. Maybe there is a Dylan Cease available to them, or something along that lines. But we'll see. We'll see.
They should have done that and got Corbin Burns. That's what they should have done.
Well, if they could have done this earlier, yeah, they could have probably got a Corbin Burns with a package.
I think they could have packaged Wizenhunt and Luciano and J.D. Davis.
That would have been plenty.
I think that would have got him. I
Yeah.
think that would have got him. But whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
Anyway,
we're not in the negotiations.
No, we don't know.
It seems to us.
We're just surmising as well as anybody else. So, anyway, hey guys, thank you for joining tonight. We'll be back Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See you Monday. Woo!